listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt.
Are you serious, Coach?
That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to OFOKnox.com. That's OFOKnox.com.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ.
Give me 2 pounds and a Rick Flag.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. We are back, baby. Swain Event TV, Periscope, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We are back. Comcast came through and fixed their outages yesterday, and we are pumped to be with you this morning on the video. So today we had to wash our face and make sure we wore appropriate clothing today, so that way no one would make fun of us and trigger us and hurt our feelings. So
yesterday people really would have made fun of Charlie because he showed up in a onesie and it had like little ACT prep books all over the onesie.
Ben, you were not supposed to tell people that.
I'm sorry.
He had his Marcus Mariota jersey on yesterday. He was rocking it yesterday.
If I had one, you know I would have worn it. Oh, but we don't have to talk about that.
But we are back today. Very, very happy. Things happen. Crazy storms. I'm more concerned about people, losing their house and losing valuables and their safety and things like that. When you put things in perspective, having Comcast out today when everybody else is dealing with things a lot worse, we'll deal with it. But we are back today. Tennessee basketball. They won by more than 30.
They look good. They won by more than 40.
My goodness. Tennessee is deep. And them boys, they love to see each other make plays, have success. Jordan Bone, his confidence is through the roof. Now, if he gets in foul trouble, if he gets hurt, it gets real interesting for Tennessee as far as depth at the point guard position. But it was cool to see Grant Williams get used to bringing the ball up the court, getting Tennessee in the offense. Saw that. It was good to see Admiral Schofield with the Dirk Nowitzki one-legged fadeaway. What?
When he did that,
Did
I
you
was
see
like,
that?
Yep.
What just happened?
That's called work during the summer.
Yeah.
Correct. We're talking to those NBA scouts.
A true NBA move.
Yeah, man, that was cool to see.
I'm not as concerned about the backup point guard situation if Jordan Bone was to go down. I'd be more concerned about just not having Jordan Bone than the actual who's going to be running point and granted it's against Tusculum, it's against Lenore Ryan, but Jordan Bowden has looked confident running the one. And then you also have Lamonte Turner, who missed last night because he's still battling back from offseason shoulder surgery. But Bowden looks confident, and then I was talking to Nathaniel Rutherford yesterday, and I told him I think just kind of pure natural talent. I think Jordan Bowden is the best two-way defender on Tennessee's roster, and he doesn't get enough credit for it.
Rick says the same. I mean, he is pretty emphatic about how he's the best guard defender that Tennessee has.
They continuously put him on the opposing team's best ball handler. And if Bone isn't able to play for whatever reason, whether it be injury, foul trouble, I'd feel comfortable with Bowden sliding over to the 1 and then Lamonte playing 2, or putting Eves in at the 2 guard, which is something that Tennessee did quite a bit last night, and letting him guard the other team's guards, which is what Rick Barnes likes to do.
How about Grant Williams, 6'7" out there guarding 6'1" point guards? I mean, very versatile. That's going to be needed this season when you're switching screens, things like that. You feel comfortable with Grant Williams getting in the stands and possibly staying in front of some guards. Now, it is Lenore Ryan, so you got to take that in consideration. But a lot of good things from last night to take away. Obviously, you always are looking to improve early in the season. The scoreboard was nice, but Tennessee could have done a lot of things better as far as offensive rebounding to start the game. I thought Tennessee allowed too many offensive rebounds by the opponent. I thought Tennessee did not cover the 3 as well as they could have. When you run into a team that is making those, you don't want to give them open looks. And Lenore Ryan stayed in the game early because they made some of those shots, and then they just went cold, and that's when the beatdown happened. So a ton of things to work on. Of course, you want correctable film as much as you can, so that way you can get ready for some of these out-of-conference matchups here, man, really in a couple days.
Tuesday.
Duke, Kentucky, though. Woo, woo.
Thank you, Coach K and Duke.
You know what? I got love for Coach Cut, so it makes me like Duke. And honestly, I like Duke back when they had Trajan Langdon, the Alaskan assassin. Back in the day, he was on that team with Elton Brand and Chris Callaway, those boys. Chris Callaway is actually assistant coach for Coach K. I mean, there were some Duke teams I liked, and because of Trajan Langdon, I had no problem sitting there rooting for Duke last night.
Oh, I
had no problem. Some people are like, oh, both of them can lose. No, man, I'm cool rooting for Duke.
I was too. I've always liked Duke because I lived in North Carolina for 4 years when I was going through middle school, and kind of like living in Alabama. It's Auburn or Alabama. And granted, I didn't pick one of those sides, but when I was in North Carolina, that was J.J. Redick. Sheldon Williams was the big man.
Yeah.
I loved watching J.J. Redick, so I became somewhat of a Duke basketball fan when I lived in North Carolina. And that's not to say that that has really carried over as I've gotten older, but I've always enjoyed watching them play basketball.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I like Duke, but I would say I like watching them play.
I go out of my way to watch Duke play basketball, and I definitely will this season.
Because, I mean, you look, John Calipari has probably had a team with talent similar to what Duke has, but John Calipari is not as good of a coach as Coach K.
Heck no.
Coach K can take these dudes and turn them up to another level, and he did that last night and just whipped Kentucky up and down the floor. It was, oh my gosh. And Kentucky, I mean, granted, Kentucky looked undisciplined on defense. They looked like a deer in headlights. They were shocked by how good Duke was.
I think any team would have been last night.
I mean, what they lose? They lost by 34 points, I believe, 118-84. I mean, just a complete just butt whooping.
The most points John Calipari has ever allowed. Ever.
Really?
I believe maybe that's just at Kentucky, but regardless.
Still.
That's saying he's been there for quite a while now.
They looked unprepared. And I was too, because I tweeted before the game. I thought, they're both just freshman-filled, uber-talented teams. And I said, they look very similar, but Coach K is a much better coach, so I think Duke's going to win. I did not expect Duke to look that monstrous.
No, Duke, they have probably the first 3 draft picks on their team.
Yeah.
And Bulls, it's time to tank. Let's tank. Let's embrace the process, or trust the process, or whatever the Sixers were doing. Bulls, it's time to do that. John Paxton and you guys up there in the Windy City, it's time to tank.
Well, good news for you.
Tank for Zion, tank for Barrett, tank for Reddish. Tank now.
The Bulls are 3-8 to begin the season, so they're off on the right foot.
Let's tank. Let's do it, man.
And
Let's do it.
Just let it be known that if the playoffs started today, the Memphis Grizzlies would be in the playoffs.
Let's get to Vol Nation on line 1, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. I don't know what you're talking about, Ben. Vol Nation, good morning.
Morning, family. How y'all doing, man?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Watching a little basketball last night. I was watching Tennessee on the screen, and then, since ESPN3 had, Memphis, I had them going on there as well, so I could see what was going on with Penny Hardaway and all that good stuff. But so I had basketball everywhere, man. But looking at the game, man, I'm now one thing I don't know if maybe it was just me. But I was watching Zion them play and things of that nature, and ESPN was talking about how great they were, and then they went into the highlights of halftime. They were talking about Florida State, and they were talking about UNC, and they were talking about Villanova. And I was like, well, where's Tennessee? I mean, they're like number 6. I didn't see us get any love whatsoever. They didn't mention us, I think. I'm thinking like, okay, that just blows my mind, but that's beside the point. Looking at the game last night, man, looking at Tennessee, I'm very excited about this program. I was texting Swain last night a little bit because, my uncle played semi-pro, so he was on us all the time. In Memphis, that's all we did. I grew up playing basketball. We lived and breathed it, and 24/7. But, we've got size, we've got strength. You can tell they've been in the off-season working out. Mm-hmm. We got some grown men out there, man. I was like, wow, Alexander looked big. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a grown man. The speed, the quickness, the agility, they're physical, offensively and defensively. The length is ridiculous, and the athleticism, and then the experience that they've obtained as well. You can see the confidence brewing out there when they're playing. That team right there could win the SEC championship crown and go to the Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8. Yep. But there are some things that they're going to have to work on, and just getting back on defense. We noticed that sometimes they get a little lazy. They were lazy in the first half as far as working on the defensive boards. That's why they were missing out on the rebound. There's no way that 4 of our guys should be down there on the block, and one of their guys gets the rebound over the 4. Somebody not putting their butt in somebody's stomach and moving them out of the way.
Correct. I was surprised. I was surprised to not see more blockouts, fundamental blockouts, where you get chest to chest with someone, you put your form in their chest, you block them out. I'm surprised we didn't see more of that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be corrected. I'm pretty sure Rick Barnes will point that out in the film study. And on those long three-pointers, man, you got to anticipate the rebounds to be long. You have to anticipate that. So
that's it.
First game, I think they'll correct it. They'll move on. Lenore Ryan, that was really the only chance of them staying in that game, was to shoot the ball from the outside and hope to get hot, and it never happened for them.
No, it did. So like I said, overall, I think it was a great performance. Seeing Pons go out there, it was a block party, man.
Woo!
Every time I turn around, and now, like I said, once again, you got to break down on defense, close out on those defenders on the three-point line a little bit better, stop jumping at everybody, because, a good team will pump fake you and go by you. But, even when you got into the paint, there's so much length and so much size in there, man. They make it difficult, make it scary once you get into the paint. And I thought that was awesome. Watching them work on the offense, high-low game, I see they kind of move things to the center rather than on, the post on the left or the right side, so they, preventing themselves from getting trapped or double-teamed, and they can throw out of the post a little bit easier. They're just working on their game, working on their craft, and I think overall they did really well. Personally watching, and I didn't get a chance to see all the other teams, of course, North Carolina. I didn't get a chance to see Villanova, but I did get a chance to see Duke, and I got a chance to see Kentucky. And as good as Duke is, Zion is ridiculous, but he's a freshman. And Barrett is incredible. Everybody they got on that team is really good. And it's just game 1. I looked at Kentucky and how they were playing, and I looked at what they were doing on Duke's side. I do not think that they would have the same result even if they played last night against Tennessee. Because I think Tennessee's discipline, their experience, and their length would have disrupted a lot of that.
Woo,
I believe I believe our point guard play would have been a lot better. I'm just looking at what I saw last night.
Hey, it's hard for me, Vol Nation, and good to hear from you. Thanks for the phone call. It's hard for me to take in how hot Duke was. They were 46% from 3. They just shot 55% from 2. They were 46 from 3. And they have the first 3. This ain't a normal freshman class we're talking about. These were the top 3 freshmen coming in. They're on one team. And they could be the top 3 in NBA draft picks. They're that good. Zion, it's 280 pounds. Excuse me. 6'7", 280. 45-inch vertical. Huh?
He glides through the air.
285?
I do agree with the general sentiment. I mean, I think Tennessee would have played Duke much closer. Do I think Tennessee would have beaten Duke?
You mean lose by 20 or 15?
Hey, the way Duke was playing last night, that might have been an accomplishment.
Tennessee,
they were just hot last night. Sometimes you just have to take the L and just realize that you're not going to win today.
Tennessee's defense is 10 steps above Kentucky's. I mean, they are more disciplined, more experienced. Like you said, more lengthy. They are really good at getting in those passing lanes.
No one beating Duke last night.
No.
Period.
But in a general sense, I do agree with Vol Nation. Tennessee would have put up a much better fight than Kentucky did.
Okay,
Quade Green was terrible.
They lost by 30, so Tennessee would lose by 15.
Kentucky had completely inadequate guard play. I mean, it just was it was a perfect storm for Kentucky to just get waxed. But would Tennessee have beaten Duke and even lost by less than double digits? Probably not.
No, man. You got to just recognize that team is hot tonight.
Yeah.
Nobody's beating that team tonight. That was Duke last night. You just can't deny that. As much as you may hate Duke, you can't deny how great they were. They scored 59 points in the first and in the second half. Just hot. Hopefully we don't have to play those guys until later in the tournament. Good thing they're in the ACC. Those dudes are unreal. Like 3-2 was on their team. Crazy. All right, 865-255-03, B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. Our hotline is up. It's running. So give us a call. We'll take a quick timeout. First timeout of the day. Stay with us. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Backed by popular demand, shop tax-free at Better Mattress during the month of October. Save hundreds of dollars store-wide. Better Mattress will pay your sales tax on any purchase. My Better Mattress has me sleeping better than ever, and it's handcrafted in East Tennessee, so I know it is made to last by good people who care about the quality of their work. Better Mattress makes it so easy to choose a mattress, you can get started right now. Visit bedrmattress.com and click on Mattress Prescription. Answer a few questions, and they'll send you some options to start with. Plus, at Better Mattress, shoppers sleep worry-free. If you don't like it after 100 nights, they'll swap it out for you. And your Better Mattress will come with a 20-year warranty. Shop Better Mattress tax-free this month only. Good night just got better. Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End BBQ has a new slew of daily specials for the fall. Enjoy a different special meal every day, like the smokehouse stew, barbecue cheddar meatloaf, or the smoked turkey and dressing, which includes sliced smoked turkey and cornbread dressing paired with sautéed Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes, and a side of turkey gravy. While Dead End offers a different specialty meal each day, you can get their hillbilly chili every day. There is always something new at Dead End BBQ. Located off of Sutherland Avenue, Dead End BBQ. The fall flavor search is over.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible. But remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this, man.
865-250-503, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline, Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. New drink specials. Also have today the slider special, which are a ton of different sliders to keep you happy. You got the chicken tender slider, which is amazing. The Cuban. You have the brisket and horseradish. You have your normal cheeseburgers slider. Bologna, BBLT, bacon, bologna, latest tomato here at Dead End BBQ. I think the cobbler of the week is peach, if I'm not mistaken. So those cobblers, do not sleep on the cobblers. Yes, the nanner pudding is amazing. Yes, the peanut butter pie is phenomenal. But the cobbler, oh, man. With the ice cream on top, oh, my goodness. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Tennessee basketball. So glad it's here.
Thank goodness.
So glad it's here. Saw Auburn play a little bit. They beat down whoever they played.
South Alabama.
Yeah, they won against South Alabama. Tennessee is deep. I mean, Tennessee is deep.
10 deep, and that's not even including DJ Burns, who is a very talented freshman, which I wonder if he's going to redshirt. He didn't play last night, and there's plenty of opportunity for him to play in the last 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, and he is serviceable if needed. I would say of his status currently.
Yeah.
If he is really needed, he can come in and play. But
they don't need him right now.
No, they don't.
The thought has always been that, okay, he's going to redshirt this year, but I've maintained that I think he may be too talented to redshirt. Like, yeah, you don't necessarily need him right now, but he's another nice piece. So,
man, he gotta get in shape. You know, if you're not in shape, if you're not ready to run like a gazelle, which is what you have to do if you're gonna play basketball, then don't put him out there and waste his red shirt. Make sure he's ready. You are deep right now. When I saw Derek Walker come in, I start thinking about the South Carolina game from, I want to say, was it last year? When he just took over.
At South Carolina.
Everybody else was cold. He just took over. Just freshman took over. And ones, getting rebounds, stroking the free throw line. I mean, he just took over. And each night, you have one guy that can take over. Like Jordan Bone was so smooth yesterday, finishing around the rim. Jump shot needs to get a little bit of lift on the jump shot. Need to get the ball over the rim. But
he's 8 of 12.
In the paint, well, shot I saw, it had no shot going in. It was like a straight line to the front of the rim. And that's kind of always been his shot. You know, doesn't get a lot of arc on the ball. But around the rim, he's so athletic. He can elevate over most point guards. He can finish around the rim. He's so fast. He's one of the fastest guys in college basketball. He reminds me a lot of Tyler Ennis for a couple years ago from Kentucky. He went to I want to say he went to the Phoenix Suns, but it's so fast, so quick. You can tell his improvement over the summer. You can look at Grant Williams and his body. He looks more lean, like he can bang. Kyle Alexander looks more lean, picked up some offensive moves. And if you think you can come in the paint against Kyle Alexander,
forget Kyle Alexander. This basketball team.
I mean, he leads it because he's a starter. He leads it. He can get over the rim. But when Eves Pons come in,
when
forget about it.
When Eves is in there and Kyle and Grant,
forget about it.
And then Jordan Bowden's he reminds me of Dwayne Wade in the sense of he is a good blocker from his shooting guard position.
Yeah.
He blocks a lot of shots.
Eves, just with his athleticism in general, especially his length, that dude has such long arms.
He's a problem.
He is seriously.
He's going to be a problem.
And they have him in this mentality. I think I said it because Eves told me this at media day before the season started. They have him on this train of thought of be the best defender in America, and Lord knows, man, he's trying. He's on that track.
Rick Barnes said last night that they are going to put him on guards. They're going to put him on the other team's point guard.
And he can do it.
Exactly. Because of his length, he's quick enough to do it. On that first block that he had last night, he almost hit his head on the rim.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have, but thankfully he just wasn't right under the rim. I mean, he flies, and when you have Eves and Kyle in there at the same time, it's going to be hard to get the shot off because there were several times. I mean, Kyle had a couple blocks. Kyle had 4 blocks, Grant had 2 blocks, and then Eves had 3 blocks, so 10 team blocks on the night. But there were also 5, 6, 7 shots from Lenore Ryan that they had to alter at the rim because Kyle or Eves was right there, and that kind of counted as a block in a way because that was the reason that they missed was because they had to alter that shot because those long arms were around the rim.
It's one thing to get your shot blocked, and it kind of barely goes out of bounds.
Oh, but to get your volleyball spiked,
and then the opponent doesn't really say much, but these dudes, they will block your stuff to the concession stand. Correct. And midair will say, "Get that out of here." That's the worst. That's the worst feeling of getting your stuff blocked by someone who says midair, "Get that out of here," and then sends it 3 rows up in the stands. That's embarrassing.
Like this is a side tangent, but about Duke. And before the show, we were talking about. I said I would love to see Admiral attempt to guard Zion. If Tennessee and Duke were to play this year, another thing I would like to see, I want to see Eves challenge Zion at the rim. I'd be interested to see how that played out because I could see Zion just slamming it on his forehead, but I could see Eves rejecting Zion's dunk and standing it up, and it might go down as the greatest block in Tennessee basketball history. That'd be something to see.
I want to see Tennessee and Duke so I can see Eves Pond and Zion Williamson, just 2 freak athletes who can jump over the rim. They're both left-handed. Now, we got to get Eves working on his free throws a little bit better.
Jump shot.
Let me take that back. He does work on his jump shot, probably more than anybody. He's in the gym. He's a gym rat. But we got to get him making those more consistently. But, my goodness, this team – man, they are fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, and they had so many hustle plays last night. There was the one where Lenore Ryan was trying to inbound the basketball, and Grant and somebody, I can't remember who the other Vol was, they trapped the Lenore Ryan player in the corner and forced him into a turnover. Grant got it, dished it over to Jordan Bone, and Jordan Bone kind of dunked it, kind of laid it in. I had a bad flashback back to Tuscaloosa last year when Jordan Bone missed that dunk.
Was that last year?
That was last year in Tuscaloosa.
It felt like 2 years ago.
It felt like yesterday to me because I was in Tuscaloosa for that. That was miserable.
You love hanging out down there.
I am a Bama recruit after all.
Yep.
And then the very next inbound, I believe it was Jordan Bone or Lenore Ryan kind of throws an errant pass, and Jordan Bone's diving out of bounds, saving it to Grant. Grant dives on the ground for it, calls timeout. Thompson Bowling goes nuts. And then there was another one where Admiral picks up a steal on the other end of the floor, throws it ahead to Bowden. Bowden throws an alley to Kyle. Just phenomenal basketball. And then there's the Jordan Bone no-look bounce pass across the lane to Kyle for the vicious slam.
Yes.
This basketball team is going to be so much fun to watch this season.
Didn't mention this. Grant Williams has a jump shot from outside the arc. If you leave him open the top of the key, he can make it now. So that extends, that widens the floor. It extends driving lanes, passing lanes. It just makes it that much easier for these guys to get to the rim. It helps with spacing. Woo! It's going to be a fun season, guys. Fun season. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. We'll go around the SEC coming up next on the Swain Event.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost that it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
Your car insurance. Nobody likes surprises, so switch to Erie Rate Lock. Get a great rate that stays that way even after an accident, ticket, or inflation. In fact, it's locked until you change a car, driver, or your address.
Your Erie agent in Knoxville is InsureFit RM. Get a quote at 865-684-4900. That's 865-684-4900.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Beatty Chevrolet is celebrating 85 years of low prices. And during Truck Month, choose from over 400 trucks and SUVs, all deeply discounted. Like a new Silverado, now 25% off. A new Equinox, now 20% off. And a certified pre-owned 15 Equinox or Terrain, now $16,995. Plus, buy with confidence with the Beatty warranty for life.
Big selection and even bigger savings. That's why it's better at Beatty Chevrolet.
Stock number 232, savings off MSRP, include all dealer savings and manufacturer incentives with approved credit list finance through GMF. Offer expires 8/31/18.
Big Orange football is better alongside another Tennessee tradition, Mrs. Grissom's salad. Mrs. Grissom's ready-made snacks and meals are perfect for game day. Crowd favorites like the select pimento cheese and cranberry pecan chicken salad are delicious and easy to grab and go right from the grocery store. Going to the game? Visit Mrs. Grissom's in Vol Village for the must-have panini grilled pimento cheese hot dog. Man, select the best. Select Tennessee's own Mrs. Grissom's.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ. Hour 1 here. 7:35 on a Wednesday. It's hump day. It's also, we haven't done it in a long time. We can do it today. It is What You Want Wednesday. which means you can send in your bumper music request. You have a song that you want to hear that takes you back to your childhood, that takes you back to the good old days or whatever. Let us know in the text box, Twitter, and Ben will get that played for you. We do have some rules. No Eddie Money. All right? No Eddie Money. That's been banned here on the program. Not dealing with it, Ben. Ben, you hear me?
I heard you.
All right, just want to make sure, man.
I'll play some Will Smith instead.
Around the SEC is brought to you by 42nd Street Design. 42SD is the website. They specialize in custom web design, logo design, print design, and overall branding. Call Mike at 865-382-7007. We understand that this is a business relationship, and we just want a chance to earn your business. So give 42nd Street, give them a call, give them a chance. Ask questions. That's one thing that I did, was I asked a ton of questions, and they answered those perfectly for me. Their process is really, really, really simple, really easy. The communication with what I want, what direction I want to go in, communication was great. And for you to get what you truly want, there has to be great communication. You can't assume, okay, this business who's working on my branding, they're going to just know what to do without me saying anything, or they're going to take my ideas and take it in a different direction. No, they took my ideas and did exactly what I wanted, and then when they came back with maybe a first round or the mock website, we'll make some changes here and there, but great communication is very important when you are rendering services of a business like 42nd Street. So give them a call, give them a visit there on the website, look around, see their portfolio, and see the other businesses that they help. Look at their work. Really great stuff. Ben, what do we have for around the SEC today?
We're going to talk college football rankings and then a little SEC basketball. A very newsy day yesterday, both in the sports world and outside of the sports world. But in the college football playoff rankings, your top four was Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan. And I don't know about y'all's thoughts, but I like that top four. I have no bones about it. Notre Dame, I don't believe they're actually the number 3 team in the country, but their resume, I think they're deserving of being in the top four as of right now. And I especially love it because Georgia is sitting outside of the top four at number 5, Oklahoma at number 6, and then a couple other SEC teams. LSU was sitting at 7, Kentucky at number 11, Florida is at number 15, which I don't know how they're number 15 after their loss to Missouri over the weekend. Mississippi State, number 16, and Auburn at number 24. And another interesting note, Washington State still at number 8. And if they win out and they get some help, we could see Mike Leach in the playoff. And I need a month's worth of Mike Leach talking about his team playing in the playoffs. That would be something to see. And then moving on to SEC basketball, a lot of games last night. You had Tennessee beating Lenoir-Rhyne, obviously. South Carolina picked up a 13-point win over South Carolina Upstate. Alabama had a 20-point win over Southern. Missouri, without Jonte Porter, had a 13-point win over Central Arkansas. LSU blew out Southeast Louisiana. And shout out to the Florida State Seminoles for beating down Mike White and the Florida Gators 81-60. Florida not looking good at all last night.
I'm here for it.
I'm very much here for it. You mentioned Auburn destroying South Alabama 101-58. We mentioned, obviously, Duke destroying Kentucky, which I am very here for. I was very happy to see that. And then Vanderbilt, kind of a back and fourth game in the first half, and then Vanderbilt pulls away late over Winthrop 92-79. And I can't believe I'm going to mention this, but it is worth noting because it happened to Vanderbilt. Yesterday, its women's team was playing the mighty University of North Alabama Lions. UNA's first ever Division I women's college basketball game, and they beat Vanderbilt.
Wow, I did not know that context. They
Take
did
that.
win.
Take that for data, Charlie.
I will say of a couple of those games, watch some of Vandy and Darius Garland, and I believe what his name is, Simi Shitu.
I keep wanting to say a bad word when I say his name because that's what it looks like.
His name is spelled that way. They're both already very good and going to continue to get better. It was a pretty fun team to watch. They don't play great defense, but
that'll come though. They're young, and then
yes,
they still had the kid from last year. I'm missing his name.
Saban Lee.
Yes, Saban Lee and Darius Garland. I saw some sentiment of this on Twitter. He's probably the best point guard prospect in the country right now.
Likely.
He's that good. He went to
very,
Brentwood, Nashville kid. He dropped in 24 and 36 minutes last night. Looked good, 3 of 7 from 3. So he's going to be a problem. I can't wait to see him match up with Jordan Bone.
Yes. And then of Florida, watch the entire first half of that game. They look lost, man. They lost Chris Chioza running point, and they got a freshman in there now, and he ain't it, Chief. I mean, they were all out of sorts. Isaiah Stokes did not look as good as reported. They got a ways to go, man.
Yeah, they do. I love it, though. I love seeing Florida get beat down, and I love seeing Kentucky get beat down, and I love seeing Tennessee beat somebody down.
Seeing Kentucky get beat down, that was nice.
It's never not fun because, like, I legitimately, Matt Jones of KSR, friend of this show, I'm going to have to listen to their show today because it's going to be hilarious.
They'll be freaking out.
People will be losing their minds.
Did you see his Twitter?
Fire him.
Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. He's not happy.
And real quick, one last note, because my mother just sent it to me on that UNA basketball team. They have a girl from Buckhorn on their team, so shout out to her. Go
Good
Bucks.
job.
Fear the deer.
Good job.
You were representing your high school, your alma mater yesterday. I got to represent mine today.
Yeah, I was when the video wasn't working. So sorry, Grissom people.
I think you did that on purpose because you know about their football program. But that's neither here nor
It's
there.
better than it was in previous years, but it's still not anything to brag about. But I got buddies of mine who are on that coaching staff there, basketball. So I got to represent Grissom. I got to represent, and I love those guys, man. I love those guys. 865-200-5503. You can call that number, and it will ring today. Comcast is back up, so we're good to go. B-Drop Waterproofing Hotline, 865-200-5503. Did not mention so many guys stood out last night in the Tennessee game, but we did not mention Mr. Fulkerson. Hustling, getting on the rebounds, altering shots in the paint. He's the glue guy. I mean, he does everything for Tennessee. He's the juice man for Tennessee. He has the juice, and you can tell when he comes in the game, the energy on the court. He's a very vital piece of this team too. So many people to mention. We right before the break mentioned Grant Williams working on his jump shot over the summer. We saw that on display, but also saw Fulkerson in there making plays, bringing the juice to the party.
Yeah, he's finally knocked off that rust after last offseason, heading into last season. I mean, he spent, I believe Rick Barnes said, 10 months in a sling or a cast on both sides of his arm, not both sides of his arm, but both sides of his body with both arms. And he was just really rusty last year, never just got that feel back to him that he had in those first 10 games when he kind of landed on the spot or came out firing as a true freshman against Oregon, against North Carolina, and then he gets hurt and kind of loses all that momentum that he had because of the injury. And it looks like he's finally got it back. He's just so active on both ends of the floor, just doing so much. He had 6 points and 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. He still plays a little out of control, but I think that's just kind of how Folky plays. But he's just so active on both ends of the floor, and him paired with Derek Walker, Kyle Alexander, or Grant Williams, it's just very productive.
That's what you're doing? That's what you're going to do? You going to call him Folky? That's what we're doing?
That's what everybody calls him. So
is that what we doing? Is that what we're doing?
I like to mix it up, so I'll call him Fulkerson. I'll call him Folky. I'll call him John Fulkerson.
Okay.
Folky is his common nickname around pretty much everybody in that program. Okay. Is it appropriate for a media member to call him that?
Probably not. But
I did see some whiner, some media member, just the ultimate whine, where he said, media members shouldn't call coaches coach. He's not your coach. He's a subject that you cover. Don't call him coach. No, I'm going to call him coach.
I don't. Yeah.
That's stupid and excessive.
Somebody really said that?
100%. I tweeted about it. I said, old man yells at cloud.
Was it a person with a Twitter Avi that is like a logo or like a picture of a tree or something? It wasn't like a real person, was it?
Oh, no. It was somebody that works for like The Athletic or something. Yeah, it was like a real... I'll find it.
Is calling John Folky any different than calling Jarrett Garantano JG?
Oh, it's different.
How?
JG,
that's his
initials.
But it also serves as his nickname. And Folky is John Fulkerson's nickname.
You gotta be kidding me.
It was Brendan F. Quinn, who covers Michigan.
Oh, Brendan used to work here, man. He used to cover Tennessee.
Covers Michigan and Michigan State for The Athletic.
He used to work for the Knox News Sentinel. He used to cover Tennessee. He used to always dress up. He looked dapper.
He has a tie on.
Yeah, man.
In his picture, he said, after going to 2 media days this week, I have to remind my brothers and sisters in media that the guy at the podium is a subject you cover, not your coach. Thus, you're ready to set some unless you're ready to set some screens and grab some boards, do not refer to him as coach. Mitch, shut up.
I'm ready to go out there and get some run. Hey, look, we got 4 walk-ons. We can just make it an all-white team and throw me out there.
You call him coach. I mean,
that's so standard. It just
you call him coach.
I think they would prefer to be called coach.
I want to sit in a room full of like football coach, basketball coach, softball coach, volleyball coach at Tennessee, and walk in and go, "Hey, coach," and then watch all of them turn around. That'd be hilarious. All right, Attaboys coming up next.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Today will be mostly sunny and windy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. There is an 80% chance of rain tomorrow with a high near 70 and a low of 56. Friday, look for more rain with a high in the upper 50s. Weather on the Swain Event is brought to you by B-Dry. If your basement is wet or cracked, B-Dry can help. BDry.com.
Gentlemen, when it comes to taking care of your health, sometimes the first step is the hardest. Low T Center is making it easier to take that first step. It all starts with knowing the numbers that are essential to a man. Testosterone levels, blood pressure, cholesterol, prostate, and thyroid. Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get all these levels checked and more. Low T Center is making it more convenient for men to take care of their health, and most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify for you. Take the first step for your health and call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388, or go to lowtcenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare.
Do you have cracks in your foundation? A wet basement or a nasty, leaky crawl space? Our listeners have heard about them on the Swain Event for over a year, and now it's time to make the call. Give B-Dry Waterproofing and Foundation Repair the opportunity to fix your home's problem. Since 1958, that's right, nearly 60 years, B-Dry has been solving basement, crawl space, and foundation problems throughout the country. B-Dry only uses high-quality materials from reputable manufacturers. They back their installations with some of the best warranties in the industry to provide homeowners with added peace of mind. They are truly an A-plus company. Whenever you start experiencing a wet basement, leaky crawl space, or a cracked foundation, remember these 3 words: better call B-Dry. Reach out to B-Dry today at 865-662-5238 to schedule your free appointment. That's 865-662-5238. Remember, better call B-Dry.
It's almost football time in Tennessee, which means it's time to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Tommy Bahama, and all those retro logos you love. Don't forget about your game day crew. Plenty of selection for the ladies, the little balls, and to upgrade their tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com.
1 in 8 American women will be diagnosed with breast cancer during their lifetime. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Premier Surgical Associates of Knoxville urges you to encourage the women in your life to get screened for breast cancer now. Early detection is key, and Premier Surgical is at the forefront of the latest diagnosis and treatment of breast cancer. Visit premiersurgical.com for more information about the surgical treatment of breast cancer. Premier Surgical, expertise you can trust.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Don't remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy.
Let's highlight some positivity. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ. We do that every morning, close to the top of the hour, right around 7:45-ish, 7:50-ish. And today, we highlight some positivity. Attaboy is brought to you by Premier Surgical and PremierSurgical.com.
November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. The Premier Surgical Oncologist, or the surgical oncologist of Premier Surgical, want you to know the risk factors and symptoms. You're at a high risk of pancreatic cancer if you smoke, are overweight, have diabetes, and if you have a family history of the disease. If you are at risk and experience these symptoms, talk to your physician as soon as possible because early diagnosis is key. Go to premiersurgical.com for more information right now. Premier Surgical, expertise you can trust. I got to add a boy for yet another ancillary Tennessee sport today, this time for swimming and diving. For the second week in a row, Tennessee senior Ziping, a.k.a. Colin Zing, and junior Erica Brown earned SEC swimming and diving honors because they went unbeaten in their performances. Zing and Brown led the way as Tennessee men and women defeated Purdue and Wisconsin in a double dual meet on Friday in West Lafayette, Indiana. It was the first road meet for the Vols, and they took it no problem. Zing is actually the reigning CSCAA National Diver of the year. He is 6 for 6 in springboard competitions to start his senior year. Dude is a monster, so it seems, in swimming and diving. And now you know, if you want to go see a Tennessee crew that wins at a high level, swimming and diving, they're doing good things over there. So that's my attaboy for today.
Go Vols. To that, I have two quick attaboys. One is to Christian Abercrombie, the Tennessee State football player who suffered a very, very nasty injury in late September against Vanderbilt. His mom tweeted out yesterday, today was such a remarkable day. Christian ate his first meal by mouth since September 29th.
Wow.
God is moving in my son's life. We are so grateful for all the support and prayers, waiting patiently on a full recovery in Jesus' name.
Wow.
So very, very happy to hear that. And then, sticking with that theme, last night, Andrew Jones, a Texas guard, returned to the court after leukemia treatments. Last year, Jones was leading the Longhorns in scoring at 13.5 points per game when he began to complain about extreme fatigue. Soon after a road game against Iowa State on January 1st, he received a leukemia diagnosis, and he did not play another game for Texas the rest of the season. But last night, Andrew Jones received a standing ovation when he hit a free throw in the second half of Texas' opener on Tuesday night. His first point as a Longhorn since being diagnosed with leukemia last January. He wasn't sure if he would play this season, but the junior guard checked in with 11 minutes, 40 seconds left in the second half, and brought the crowd to his feet. And even though he's also recovering from a broken toe, Jones was physical from the get-go, scrapping for a loose ball, then drawing a foul in Texas's 71-59 season-opening win over Eastern Illinois. So, attaboy to Christian Abercrombie, attaboy to Andrew Jones.
I'm going to go. I'm not sure where this is. Looks like this is in Texas. Here we go. Headline: when the radio station hears about mom struggling to care for sick son, they give her surprise she will never forget. Says her 2-year-old son, Rylan, has been on dialysis since he began his fight against kidney disease at just 1 month old. He undergoes this process for 10 hours every night, and Rebecca, mom, is with him every moment of the process. Until he received the kidney transplant he needs, she is unable to work to his medical condition. But she still relies heavily on her car because of emergencies happen a lot. Devastation struck this summer when Rebecca's car was totaled by a hit-and-run driver. With only liability insurance and no job, Rebecca had no way to scrape money together for new wheels. For this small family, the future was uncertain until a radio station heard about her story. Rebecca and Rylan were treated to dinner at a restaurant in Roanoke, Texas. Unaware what WLTY 94.9 had in store for them, they finished their meals and they were brought out to the parking lot, and they were greeted by Bonnie Curry and the Speak Love team, a group of staffers from the station who are dedicated to doing good deeds for people in their community. A check for $1,000 was presented to them, as well as brand new toys for the boy. George Grubbs, the owner of the local Infiniti dealership, suddenly revealed himself and handed over a set of keys and a brand new car, silver topped with the red ribbon and completely paid for. Since then, Mother has been able to fully meet her son's needs, which have included at least one emergency hospital visit. So, attaboy to this radio station and Infiniti down there in Texas for just blessing this son, this mother. Truly a really cool story. Great story. So that's my attaboy today. Yeah, I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying. No, I'm not crying at all, man. You are crying. It's your allergies, not my allergies. 865-200-5503, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Do we play football this weekend?
Yeah, we do, and Tennessee is going to hopefully cap off a really rough weekend for for Kentucky fans. I would love nothing more than for all of Kentucky basketball fans to be weeping in their sorrows on Tuesday night because they got beat down by Duke, the team they hate the most in college basketball, and then Tennessee in football on Saturday. That would make my week.
Let's think about this. Think about someone who takes what you're doing and then they're better than you at your own game. That's what Duke did to Kentucky. Because Kentucky, they were the headquarters for one and dones. They won a championship, had all these players go to the NBA, and Coach K was like, okay, I can do it too. And look at them. They are the new headquarters for one and done. They got 3 lottery picks. Possibly 4, you're right, man. Possibly 4. Hour 2, around the corner. Stay with us. Be right back.
If you love the Swain Event and you want more of the show every day, you can now get it with Swain Event Plus. Swain Event Plus features exclusive, in-depth interviews with former Vols.
She saved my life. I probably would have never made the comments, man. I looked at him and said, Coach, no disrespect. I'm going to Tennessee. I'm going to play in the SEC.
With Swain Event Plus, you can also get access to the exclusive podcast Reel on the Hill with Tennessee media legend John Bryce.
What is going on there with that battle?
Had lunch with some folks over the course of this past week who indicated some inside the program believe that Jarrett Garantano is really ready to take that next step.
So go to SwainEventPlus.com right now to sign up and check out all of the amazing extras that you can get. That's SwainEventPlus.com. Get more.
Touchdown or turnover is up next on the Swain Event.
Backed by popular demand, shop tax-free at Better Mattress during the month of October. Save hundreds of dollars store-wide. Better Mattress will pay your sales tax on any purchase. My Better Mattress has me sleeping better than ever, and it's handcrafted in East Tennessee, so I know it is made to last by good people who care about the quality of their work. Better Mattress makes it so easy to choose a mattress, you can get started right now. Visit bedrmattress.com and click on Mattress Prescription. Answer a few questions, and they'll send you some options to start with. Plus, at Better Mattress, shoppers sleep worry-free. If you don't like it after 100 nights, they'll swap it out for you, and your Better Mattress will come with a 20-year warranty. Shop Better Mattress tax-free this month only. Good night just got better.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt. Are you serious, Coach? That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
It's time to overreact. We do that right now. Touchdown, turnover, Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong. Better rates and better service. It's time to overreact. Touchdown, turnover. You are taking the field versus Duke to win the championship after one game, seeing how dominant Duke was against Kentucky. Normally this question would be phrased like, would you take the field or would you take Duke? Because it's touchdown turnover, we'll say you will take the field over Duke to win the championship. Touchdown or turnover. Field over Duke to win the championship.
Touchdown. You're just playing the percentages. You have a better chance of making that selection correct if you take the field. There's just 320 something odd college basketball teams, and just your odds are better if you stick with all of them over just one team. And there are still some good basketball teams out there. Nobody's talking about how Kansas looked against Michigan State last night. They are going to be a problem for people. Quentin Grimes, Azubuike, Dedrick Lawson, KJ Lawson. They're going to be some problems. Yeah. Dotson. That's an interesting matchup. Now, if Duke plays like they did last night, Duke will win that basketball game, in my opinion. I think, just as an overreaction, maybe, I think Duke is the best team in the country and should be number one next week, even though Kansas won. Like that last night, Duke's performance is the type of performance that jumps you to number one, even when the number one team in the country does not lose. So I'll go touchdown. I'm taking the field. Just the odds and the percentages are better when you do take the field.
Touchdown for me also. Yeah, it's just a better chance that the field will win. Yes, Duke is incredible. Yes, Duke is probably the best team in college basketball after one night. Obviously, it's one game. But I'll say this. Kentucky, 2014? That's the best college basketball team I've ever seen, and I don't think it's really close. They were unbelievable, filled with NBA talent from top to bottom. They were too good, went undefeated until the Final Four, and they just ran into a Wisconsin team that was playing at the absolute height of its abilities, and they ended up losing. And basketball's a funny game like that. Kentucky has an off night. Wisconsin has a nearly perfect night. It's over. It could happen to Duke. Yes, they are extremely good, but the percentages are very, very much in the favor of the field. So I got to say, someone else other than Duke will win the championship, and ideally, it'll be Tennessee.
Definitely going to be Tennessee. That's right. That's right, Duke. You better get your game together. You better watch that film between Tennessee and Lenore Ryan, and you better get to practicing.
Better take note.
Better take notes. That's right. Let's get to Turkey Man on the B-Dry Waterproof Hotline. I agree with you guys. So
really, based off your comments before the show, I figured you'd take Duke.
Yeah, man. I think Duke is great, but that was one game. How often will you shoot 46% from three? You may hit a freshman wall here or there. I would probably take the field. I don't know how many teams can really beat Duke, but I'll take the field. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, individuals.
Good morning, individual.
Hey, I'm glad to see that you can call and talk to you today.
Yeah, man. Thank Comcast. I'm not crapping on Comcast. It was a ton of outages. There are TV stations locally that's dealing with internet issues. It happens, and we're a smaller business. I'm not really complaining that much about it. I was upset before, but I wasn't really upset yesterday. And so they did the best job they could. We're back, sounding great, so we're just good to be back.
Now, Turkey Man, you talked to one of us during the show yesterday. It just
I
not
did. I talked to Charlie.
Yeah, you almost got Charlie in trouble.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, you called in the middle of the show, and I thought it was my doctor calling because something happened over the weekend. I had to go to the doctor, and so I answered it thinking I needed to answer it, and it was Turkey Man.
But, Turkey Man, the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. I can do. What is that song, Ben? I can do better than you.
I know what song you're referring to, but
yeah,
I only know it in a rap lyric, and it's not.
I bet Bill could bring it out there.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Anything you can do, I can do better. That's right. I can do better than you.
That's what J. Cole said.
Hey, something like that. Hey, what do you think about the Cats there? Do you think that they was preoccupied looking at their football team, their fans, and just really wasn't into the game and didn't really get them over the hump?
I mean, I think the fans were looking ahead, but I don't think
they
had
were.
anything to do with the basketball team.
They should have been
the team
more
just ran
focused
into a
on what
buzzsaw.
they do better than everybody else, shouldn't they?
Yes, they should have.
They was preoccupied trying to play over here in another sport that they can't do good at, and I think that's just called. I think it was a distraction for them. But anyhow, I'm excited about taking them on this week, and I feel like we're going to have a chance of winning, and we can have a chance to beat them in basketball too. So I'm excited about that. But I asked you guys here a while back this question. I seen when the officials were at the media days, SEC, and they brought up this rule of saying the knees have to be covered, and that they was going to do that because it was a safety deal. Did you see them? Did you see them do that?
Did I see them enforce it?
Yes.
No, I have not seen them to enforce it yet. Now, Ben, you might have seen it. Charlie, you may have seen a penalty thrown.
No,
yeah,
I have not seen a penalty.
It was a Florida game.
Yep, I remember.
The Florida game about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was. They were playing Missouri, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they had told this player to go out, and he refused to go out. And they told him to leave, and I don't know if they gave him marked off 5 or whatever it was. But the thing about it is, if they got that stupid rule, I mean, well, I don't know, I won't say it's stupid, it's on the books, but they can pull it anytime they want to.
I think it's a stupid rule, Turkey Man, and it's like the seatbelt rule. Yeah, it's important. You know, save lives, whatever. And covering your knees are important. But listen, if you don't want to cover your knees, that's on you. If you prefer getting hit in your knees, hey, man, that's on you. If you prefer not to wear a seatbelt, I mean, that's on you.
It's not hurting out of your car.
It's not hurting me. It's hurting you. So I think it's a pretty silly law. I think it's a pretty silly rule.
It happened to C.J. Henderson. I don't believe it happened this past weekend. Maybe it was against Georgia 2 weeks ago. But I believe it was Thomas Goldcamp tweeting about it. The referees asked C.J. Henderson to leave the game because his knee pads weren't covering his knees, and he refused. And I believe he got a 15-yard penalty for it.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to break. I'm going to get Chris Lowe on the phone because I don't want to get in trouble for saying something stupid. I'm going to take a break. I want to get Chris Lowe's take on Dan Mullen calling out the fans down there in Gainesville. Your team laid an egg. Now, that same team beat the brakes off our team, but they still laid an egg against Missouri, act like they didn't want to be there. Felipe Franks is regressing. What do they do with the quarterback position down there in Florida? Tennessee, Kentucky this week. A lot of things going on in the SEC, and we'll talk to Chris Lowe of ESPN to get the lowdown. 865-200-5503. Stay with us. Swain Event. We'll be right back.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End BBQ has a new slew of daily specials for the fall. Enjoy a different special meal every day, like the smokehouse stew, barbecue cheddar meatloaf, or the smoked turkey and dressing, which includes sliced smoked turkey and cornbread dressing paired with sautéed Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes, and a side of turkey gravy. While Dead End offers a different specialty meal each day, you can get their hillbilly chili every day. There is always something new at Dead End BBQ. Located off of Sutherland Avenue, Dead End BBQ. The fall flavor search is over.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today. We're here with Dr. Mike Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, or instability, Achilles tendonitis, golfers, or tennis elbow, do what I did and give them a call.
Yeah, Jason, we specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged ligaments, tendons, and joints, including things like rotator cuff injuries, knee instability, elbow problems, as well as foot problems like plantar fasciitis, Achilles, things of that nature, by injecting with stem cells and what's called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma. And this form of treatment we do under ultrasound, so we know we have our target. And it also stimulates the body's own reparative process, and this allows for the healing of damaged tissue. And as you well know, numerous professional and collegiate athletes, guys like Steph Curry, Tiger Woods, and even yourself with your ankle injury, have been using this form of treatment for years. And so we offer that same type of treatment here in East Tennessee.
Visit them on the web at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in regenerative therapy.
Goes your car insurance.
Nobody likes surprises, so switch to Erie Rate Lock. Get a great rate that stays that way even after an accident, ticket, or inflation. In fact, it's locked until you change a car, driver, or your address.
Your Erie agent in Knoxville is InsureFit RM. Get a quote at 865-684-4900. That's 865-684-4900.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
If you aren't following the Swain Event on Twitter, then are you even on Twitter? Hit that follow button. It's the right thing to do.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, 865-255-03. Chris Lowe, this guy, I met him a couple years ago. He's a good guy, and then we used to talk all the time, and then somehow he just blew up. He doesn't have a lot of time for me anymore. He's super famous, and our agent here with the Swain Event contacted his agent, Chris Lowe's agent, and we finally made this thing work here today. So he joined us on the B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. His time is brought to you by Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. Chris Lowe, good morning.
Listen, man, you're a man of your words. You need to tell the truth when you bring me on. You don't need to embellish things.
That's the truth, man.
You know, I don't have just one agent. I've got 4 or 5 agents.
That's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. And you want to know what else happened in that story? I fell on a helmet, and I was hurt, and, you didn't think about me. You didn't check in on me when I fell on the helmet.
Swain, let it go, brother. Let it go.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'll always remember how you did not check on me.
Let it go. Hey, life was made to live going forward, not backwards.
Chris, speaking of going backwards, man, what's going on with Florida football? And them losing to Missouri, and Felipe Franks looks like he's going backwards. And I like Felipe Franks, kind of, to be honest. Got a little bit of bravado, got some juice to him. Sometimes he rubs me the wrong way, but I mean, hey, I like the confidence that he has, but he's not really playing with it right now. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole East. If you tried to sort of assess the East Division right now, with the exception of Georgia, it's hard to get a read on it, Swain. I mean, one week you think, all right, this team is really starting to be on that trajectory to end the season strong, and then the next week you totally, it's like you tear it up and you start over again. And I was shocked to see Florida get beat the way they did against Missouri, and especially when you factor in that Missouri was coming off an awful loss at home. Not that losing to Kentucky is awful, but the way they lost it. I mean, they dominated that football game and then just managed to sort of unravel there in the last quarter or last several minutes of the game at home. And then the next week, and I give Barry Odom and his staff credit. I mean, they're ready to play, and they obviously were upset and channeled that into playing one of their better games of the year and just, clobbering Missouri. So it's been a weird year in the East, really. When you look around at all the different teams and who you think, because there's several teams that are capable. South Carolina's capable. Florida's certainly capable. Missouri has shown it can be. And then there's Kentucky, that even though they lost last week to Georgia, I mean, it wasn't surprising that they lost, but they just really never gave themselves a chance to win with some of the mistakes and things they did early in the game. But going back to Florida, that's one that you scratch your head over. I agree, because Franks, Mullen's a guy that has always gotten quarterbacks ready to play. He's always coached them up. I think one of the best things he does, though, is evaluate quarterbacks, and I think that's why you can't assess what's going to happen there until he brings in his guy at quarterback and then develops them and coaches them from there. You go back to the Florida game, and Franks didn't play very well. He threw a couple of nice passes in that game. But it's I know that's got to be frustrating for Florida fans. It's frustrating for Dan Mullen, what's happening there. And we'll see we'll see what they do going forward. Mullen said he might play, 3 quarterbacks or 4 the rest of the way. I don't know. If you ask me right now, who's the second best team, or excuse me, I still think Kentucky is the second best team in the East, okay? But after that, 3, 4, 5, I don't know.
And the East was supposed to be better than the West this year.
Nah, I never bought that.
Yeah, man.
You didn't buy that.
That's what they're saying. I think Twitter.com told us that.
I think there are some teams that improved. Kentucky's improved. South Carolina. But, see, I don't know that South Carolina's a better football team than they were last year.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
They're comparable. Tennessee's, I think they're playing harder, but I don't know that they're personnel-wise. I don't think they're a lot better. I tell you, Vanderbilt's a team that has been hard luck. Seems like Vanderbilt's been hard luck for 25 years in that they have played good football and have competed right there to the end with a lot of good teams and not just been able to push through. So I would say Vanderbilt is, because I saw them last year live twice, actually. I think Vanderbilt's a better football team this year than they were last year.
Chris, that Kentucky-Missouri game, there was a point in the game when Benny Snell was not on the field. I think he got into it with Eddie Grant on the sideline. What have you heard about maybe any further actions taken against Benny Snell, which would be silly because he's your best player, but how that kind of played out, and maybe is that smoothed over between Eddie Grant and Benny Snell? You talking about the Georgia game, Missouri game? You talking about last? It was Missouri game. It was Missouri. 2 weeks. Yeah, it was Missouri game. Yeah. No, I think that's just emotions in the heat of the moment. I don't think there's anything that's going to be lingering or lasting. Listen, man, this is a big football game for Kentucky, and I know everybody thinks, well, golly, they lost. They got beat pretty badly by Georgia. Don't let that fool you. This still has a chance to be Kentucky's best football season in 40-plus years. And they got a chance to win 10 games in the regular season, and then to get to 11 in the bowl, I guess, which is the most they've ever won. But to really complete it, if you're gonna have a special season, you got to beat your rivals. Well, here towards the end of the season, they got Tennessee and Louisville. So to win 10 games and cap that by beating Tennessee and Louisville would be huge for this program, and huge for this team. So I guarantee you they come in to Neyland Stadium on Saturday on point and ready to play. Now, we have seen now in the last couple of weeks that you can exploit this team. There may be Georgia ran for a ton of yards on them. They still are not, even though Wilson threw the ball a little bit better last week, they're still not a team that if you make them throw the football, if you get them down in distances where they have got to throw the football, that's not what they do. That's not who they are. So there's some, I think there's some things that Tennessee can do to make it hard on them. But this is a veteran team, Swain. I think 18 of the 22 starters have been in the program for at least 3 years. They're better up front on both sides, and Kentucky's been in a long time. And then they have an elite pass rusher, and I'm talking about an elite, one of the best in the game, in Josh Allen. Yep. And you have got to account for him on every play because he's the kind of guy that can create negative plays. And we know from Tennessee that that's been a problem. If Tennessee is, if they're in, second and 16, getting sacked, certainly losing the football, fumbling the football, which he's good at coming off the edge. That's kind of thing Tennessee's been hard pressed, and most teams are, but Tennessee's been especially hard pressed to overcome. And Snell still is it. I mean, his numbers maybe have declined a little bit in the last 3-4 weeks, but he's still one of those guys, brother. He runs every time he touches the football like it's the last time he's ever going to touch the football. And you've got to wrap him up and tackle him because he is tough after that first contact. Are you very optimistic about Tennessee's chances to win? I mean, Auburn game, there were holes. There were things that were set up for Tennessee to win. Early kick, you had some team dissension. Kentucky doesn't have much of that. They do have a quarterback that has been really inconsistent and might lose games for his team if he turns the football over. But how optimistic are you about Tennessee's chances?
Well, I'll go back and, you can play a tape of what I said 3 or 4 weeks ago against Auburn. There's 2 things Tennessee's got to do in this game, and they did it against Auburn. And it is they've got to force some turnovers, and they've got to make big plays. They've got to strike down the field. And we haven't really seen that in the last few weeks. Certainly the big plays. I mean, a few, but I think that's the key to beating this team. I think they're good enough up front where it's going to be tough for Tennessee just to line up and run it at them. And they also can run the football, which means they're going to, they got a pretty decent chance to win time to keep the football and win field position. So Tennessee has got to flip the field with some big plays, and I think they've got to turn them over. And maybe a play in the special teams. I think for all the bad things that happened last week, or the disappointment that was on display in that very lackluster win over Charlotte, Tennessee did make a huge play in special teams. It would be nice for Tennessee to duplicate that again this week, because I think that's the kind of big play, whether it's on special teams or offense, they're going to need to win this football game. Kentucky's going to come in here ready to go. I can promise you that. It's not like they're woe is me. We just lost to Georgia. We have no chance to win the East. They know what they're playing for. They know that for all they've done to this point, Swain, if they lose to Tennessee, the Tennessee team is not very good, the Tennessee team is not having a bad season, nobody's going to remember that they win 8 or 9 games this year. They're going to remember that they lost to Tennessee. And that's why I think Tennessee's going to have to play very comparable to the way they played against Auburn to win this game.
Chris, maybe the hottest take of the week from folks around the SEC is that Alabama is somehow hurting college football by being just utterly dominant. When you see this assertion, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, wasn't the game Saturday night the highest-rated game of the year, any game on any network, LSU, Alabama? I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yep, and it outrated Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's hurting the game, there's a lot of people that are certainly tuning in to watch it play. I mean, what's that mean? Everybody wants to see Alabama lose. Why wouldn't you? I mean, they are the back when the Yankees were rolling in baseball, everybody rooted against the Yankees. You guys are too young to remember this, but back in the late 60s and the 70s, UCLA basketball was a juggernaut and won 7 of 10 national championships. People tuned in to see if someone could finally beat them. Really, in women's basketball, staying with UConn up until just this past year. I mean, how many games in a row had they won? People were, and I remember this same narrative, and it's folks in my profession, the media, and fans too, saying, "Well, is this really good for the women's game? That UConn has dominated the way they have." You go back 30, 40, 50 years, you see this. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. It's pretty comparable. I don't buy that at all. I think it's, what it is? It's a reminder to everybody around the college football world that this is the standard, and this is where you got to get to. This is the way you got to recruit. This is the way you got to evaluate. You got to develop. You got to coach. And I think most importantly, and I got a second point to this too, but most importantly is you got to bring in guys that are great players who aren't afraid of competition, who thrive on competition. Swain knows that. The guys that, when you get on the practice field, I mean, they don't care that you brought in, if you're Jason Swain and you're USA Today All-American, you don't care that they're also bringing in a Brett Smith or Robert Meacham, guys that are also rated highly, because you're going to go and you're going to beat those guys out, and you're going to show that you're just as good and it's going to make you better. But here's the second part of my point. As good as Alabama is, I don't think people say nobody can beat him. I guarantee you, if Alabama turns the ball over or doesn't play a great game and Clemson plays well, Clemson can beat them on a neutral field. Clemson's got the defensive front. They've got a quarterback now who can make every throw. Yeah. They're getting better. Georgia in the SEC championship game. Georgia seems to be getting better and finding his stride. Michigan, I don't think, is good enough on offense, but boy, they're good enough on defense to keep that game close and get it into the late third quarter, fourth quarter, and who knows? My point is, there's other teams out there that are playing well enough and have that are equipped to beat them. You're going to have to play your best game to beat them, and they're probably going to have to help you a little bit. But that's college football, and we see it happen every year where there's no way this team can lose, and guess what? They lose.
Clemson put a whooping on Louisville. Clemson got up in that game, didn't even throw the ball. They just ran the ball. Had 3 guys rush for over 100 yards. I don't know if I've ever seen a team give up like this, like Louisville. 77 to 16 in that game. That's embarrassing, Chris. Is there any way Bobby Petrino is back next year?
I have a hard time seeing it. And what a reminder, Swain, that you're talking about how quickly can and do things change in college football. I mean, think about 2 years ago? Certainly 3 years ago. Remember when they beat Florida State? Was it like 60-something to 20?
Yep. Had a Heisman Trophy winner, too.
Had Lamar Jackson running all over the place and carving people apart and scored 50 points of their own. And now here they are, and they're terrible. Clearly something's not right there. And I think there's some other things outside of football, with there are concerns there that people around the Louisville University, Louisville campus are concerned about. But yeah, it just looks like that Bobby and the staff have lost the team, and there may be different reasons for that. Bobby's still a good football coach. I mean, no matter what you think about him. I mean, he's had a lot of success and won a lot of games. He's won a lot of games there. Look what he did at Arkansas. He got Arkansas to rank third in the country that year, in the first year of or not the first year, but the BCS standings when they went to LSU Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, they were right there on the cusp of being in the national championship game. So he's proven he can coach, but for whatever reason, it's falling apart there now. It's sort of just unraveled. And yes, I agree. I think it's barring the Louisville administration just deciding they can't pay whatever they owe them, I think there probably will be a change there.
A lot of changeover in Louisville. A lot of changeover. Chris Lowe.
Yeah, you're like AD, basketball coach. Yeah. If Bobby goes, football coach. I mean, it sounds like your alma mater.
What do you mean? You mean Grissom High School? We got a lot of turnover there.
Unlike you, to be fair, I'll say it. I'll rephrase that. Like our alma mater. How about that?
There you go, Chris. Because just like all these Bammers and Auburn fans and Bulldogs and Gators, they always accuse you of being biased, and you do your job better than most. And
you know what though, man? If that wasn't happening, and I mean that sincerely, then I probably wouldn't be doing my. I've got everybody on all sides over 30 years that accuse me. I got Tennessee fans who are constantly on.
You hate Tennessee, Chris?
But I hate Tennessee. I'm too negative Tennessee. So you know what that tells me is I'm probably trying to be as honest and as candid and as fair and as informed as I possibly could be. And you know what? In our business, you can't deal with people, accusing you of this or that. You probably need to get out, because I could always go get a real job. And I remind myself that every morning when I get up, how blessed I am to do what I do. And the people I get to, have relationships with, and the games I get to go, and experiences. And if you can't deal with a little criticism or people accusing you of being biased against this team or that team, as the great Pat Stummitt used to say, toughen up, Buttercup. It's time for you to go do something, maybe get a real job.
Yeah, I had somebody, Chris, who disagreed with what I said about something Tennessee related and brought up that I was from Alabama. I was like, really? That's what you're going to say?
Of it. You're used to that now, though. You realize, you're not a neophyte in the business anymore. It's just part of it. And
yeah, I'm a Bama fan.
You just can't let that stuff cloud, what we do. And that's why I love being on your show, because you're real. You tell it like it is. You're not afraid to speak your mind, but you're informed, and you talk to people, and you check with people, and that's the thing. The thing I hate about our business, Swain, is when people just throw stuff out there to throw it out there, hot takes, and not really be informed. Just the pro wrestling side of it, just to sort of say this because it's going to get this crazy reaction. But no, I love what I do, and I love our segments every Wednesday morning, and believe it or not, I still want to see my alma mater do well. But
that's right.
But I'm going to be honest.
Chris, I don't want to divert from football too much, but I would like to get your opinions on SEC basketball as the season has now begun. Just your thoughts on Tennessee, Kentucky, Auburn. Those are kind of the top three teams. How do you see this season playing out in the SEC?
Well, I think it's going to be even deeper. The league has a chance to be even deeper than it was last year. I mean, and when I say deep, I'm talking about multiple teams, 3-4 teams that would have, if things go well, would have a legitimate chance to get to the Sweet 16. And to me, that constitutes a deep league. I got to see a lot of the Tennessee game last night, and I'd had some chances to spend some time with Coach Barnes the last couple of weeks. I've been talking a little bit about his team with him, and I went to watch him practice. But they're going to be a lot of fun to watch play. And I tell you, the guy I think, and Rick agreed with me when I spoke to him last night, that I think has a chance to be a real difference maker for them is Yves Pond. Because he's a guy that, defensively, getting rebounds and garbage. When I say garbage points, I mean in a good way. Rebounds, long rebounds, second chance points. Defend pretty much the 3, the 4, the 2 on the other team, a guy that could defend just about any position. And just get you those athletic plays. He's long, he's athletic. That's sort of a dynamic this team didn't necessarily have last year. They've got so many guys that can score and score in different ways. They've got outside shooters. They got inside. I think as Kyle Alexander can continue to develop and be that rim protector, this has a chance to be as good a team as Tennessee's had. Rick's one of these guys that doesn't care if they're ranked 6 or 46, but I can tell you he likes this basketball team. He likes the way they compete. He likes the way they challenge each other, and he likes the depth on this team.
Man, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun year. Chris Lowe.
Hey, let me say this too, Swain.
Go ahead.
I got some good news on Tony White from his wife just the other day. In fact, I'm going to try to go by and see Tony today. But I want to thank all the people out there that listen to your show and for all their prayers and thoughts. It's worked. He got some good news in his battle, and just continue to keep him in his prayers. And it's been amazing to see. And again, I know we kid about our alma mater, but it's been amazing to see the outpouring of love and support for him from the UT community. And I'm talking about the people who've gone by to see him, and the people who've called me and have prayed for him. I mean, former teammates. Coach Barnes has been by there multiple times. Coach Fulmer, Chris Lofton, Mark Griffin, Anthony, guys that played with him, people that he worked with out in Oak Ridge. I mean, it just tells you what kind of guy he is and the kind of impact he's had on people, not just as a basketball player, one of the best ever at Tennessee, but, he's remained in this community and has touched so many people. So got some good news on him. Bud Ford went by to see him. David Grimm, and so many people have gone by to see him. And just keep him in his prayer. Keep Tony the Wiz in your prayers.
Absolutely, man. No doubt about that. Chris Lowe, ESPN here, ESPN.com. Senior writer for ESPN, covering college football, and does a great job. Thanks to you for joining us this morning. Chris, who's the second best quarterback in this conference, man? I look at Tua, he is head over heels better than everyone else, but who do you feel like is the second best quarterback in this conference today as we sit right in the middle of November?
So if I'm going to play a game this weekend, it would be my quarterback if I couldn't pick Tua, basically, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, that's a hard one, Swain. I hadn't really thought of it in that way. I guess I would still take Drew Lock, even though he hasn't had a great year. I think he's still capable. Part of it, I don't know they played great around him. He lost his best receiver, for a big chunk of the season. But I tell you, Jake Fromm is probably the most underrated quarterback, because you go back and look at the last 2 years, all the big throws he's made when he's had to make throws in big situations. He's consistently done that. Be one of those two, I would say.
Yeah, I still like Drew Lock. I still do. I know losing receivers and a new offense, Derek Dooley.
Stidham is probably the most talented.
I know, man.
It's just when I say talent, he's got the best arm talent.
Yeah.
But they haven't used him right. I think he has sort of regressed a little bit, and he just never seemed comfortable, and they've never really utilized him. Everything's a boom or bust with their passing game. There's not a lot of intermediate stuff. But, he put it this way, he's a guy, he won't be drafted as high because of this season, but he's a guy I could see getting into the NFL and getting with the right coach and the right system and really prospering.
Well, speaking of Jarrett Stidham, Auburn takes on Georgia this weekend, and Auburn coming off a big win over Texas A&M. Bad loss for Jimbo, good win for Gus. Mm-hmm. Just kind of your thoughts on both of those coaches from last weekend, and then are Auburn fans just waiting to bite off Gus Malzahn's head if he loses to Georgia this weekend?
Listen, man, Auburn fans are just waiting to bite off any coach's head. It's been like that forever. It's like a week-to-week, year-to-year referendum on a football coach there. You know, this season's not going to end like it did last year for Auburn. But if you go back to last year, about this point, maybe a week before, they're ready to fire him then. And guess what? They beat Georgia, they beat Alabama, and they get in the SEC championship game. Now, they got to play Georgia and Alabama on the road this year, so I don't think that's going to repeat itself. But you know, they owe him $32 million, of which $16 million would be payable in a month. And Alan Green, the AD, came out yesterday and said, "Listen, he's our coach. He's going to be our coach next year." Now, I know that's the dreaded vote of confidence, I guess, but I don't see that happening. It's fine, but they're not going to be happy there until he has a 11-win season and beats Alabama and wins the SEC championship. They were close last year, and I know the reason people say they were stupid to give him that kind of contract. Well, again, he just won the two biggest games of the season. He got to the SEC championship. Arkansas is getting ready to pay him a ton of money. So if you're Auburn, what do? You're sort of, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. Now, should the buyout have been as big as it is? Buyouts to me are just, they're monopoly. No, I won't say they're monopoly money. They're Swain money. It's the kind of money that Swain makes. So the rest of us can't really wrap our hands around that kind of cash. But I think that's just sort of part of the course. The funny thing is, he's the only one that's beaten Saban. There are no other active coaches in the league. He's beaten him twice in 2013, and and he's still on the hottest of seats. So welcome to the Plains.
It's the way it is, man. It's the way it is. Chris, there's a lot of issues with Tennessee football. A lot of reasons why they're not a better team. I look at offensively, they're 119th out of I want to say 120 something teams. Can't run the football. Can't get a pass rush consistently. There's a lot of things wrong with Tennessee. But it seems like everyone wants to always just talk about the quarterbacks. In your opinion, where would you put most of the weight of Tennessee's issues this football season?
Just the offense in general, and then some breakdown, and then I think you throw in some breakdowns on defense that are sort of part just not good enough in personnel, and then some busts, a little bit of both. But I think the offense, and I wouldn't put it just on Garantano, just on the offensive line. They just aren't. It's hard to look at Tennessee offensively, Jason, and say, well, this is what they do well, and this is what they could, because they don't do anything consistently well. As a couple coaches have told me in the league, they're not that difficult to scheme up on defense. And that's not a shot at Jeremy or Tyson Helton or Jared or anybody else. It's just that's just sort of who they are right now. They can't line up and bully you running the football. They lost their best player on the offensive line, who never really was back 100%, bless his heart. I'm talking about Trey Smith after having blood clot. He probably was playing out of position anyway at tackle. I think he's more naturally a guard. They've had different combinations on the offensive line. Really, with the exception of the Auburn game, they haven't protected great to be able to throw the football down the field. And Garantano is at times not made the decisions that he needs to make. He's been a tough guy, and I think he's played a lot better than he's been given credit for. But I think all of it. I think just the offense in general. And then they've given up some plays on defense, done some things on defense. Again, just not having personnel that you need. Speed. I would say, Jason, more specifically, speed. They're just not very fast, and as fast as they need to be in key positions on defense, whether it's rushing the passer, whether it's covering guys down the field, in pursuit, that kind of thing.
Chris, you always put out a great, detailed, deep dive type of a piece when you are covering a team. What story do you have kind of brewing, and what are you working on right now?
Yeah, well, I just finished up when I was in Baton Rouge last week. I just finished up the one that ran. I guess they ran it right after the game. I've been working on it because I've been down in Alabama early that week. Just how Saban has really sort of adapted, and to see him winning like this, throwing the ball 42 times and rolling up, 570 yards of offense. I mean, it's it's pretty weird to see that, But he admitted the game's changed and you got to change with it. And of course, then you go into that game and they just beat LSU up physically. But I got some other things coming up. I think I want to do something on Minshew, the Washington State quarterback, sort of the marriage between he and Mike Leach, two guys that sort of were, I will say, football nomads, but wandering around. Minshew was at East Carolina and then was going to go to Alabama, and now he's at Washington State. Here he is with Leach, and they're prospering. Got a chance to win the Pac-12, so that's something I've got cooking. May even sort of meet up with you there Saturday. You gonna be over there on the campus of your alma mater?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Are you going to be there at Dead End? Munching on what? By the way, I owe you lunch at Dead End, so you got to let me know when we're going over there.
Anytime, man. Tuesdays might be the money days because they got this meatloaf. Oh my goodness, CeeLo. Cheddar barbecue meatloaf. It is unreal, and they serve it on Tuesdays.
Let me say this. I give a little plug to George and the folks at Dead End. I was in Tuscaloosa for 2 days last week when I was doing the piece and meeting with Saban, and I went one night just out of tradition. I went one night to Dreamland and had the white bread and the sauce, and I had and for the record, I had a full slab, Swain, not a half slab, but a full slab.
You deserve it. I
had to be on the lift to go an extra 10 or 15 minutes the next morning, and it was really good. Well, I was talking to some guys the next day over in the Alabama football office, and they asked me where I ate, and I told them Dreamland, and multiple people there said, I guess maybe we take Dreamland for granted. He said, but we like Dead End when we go to Knoxville. Dead End is really, really good. So I mentioned Dreamland, the folks in Alabama, and they immediately bring up Dead End. So what's that tell you?
Hey, man, it tells you there's a reason why Dead End is top 100 barbecue restaurant, man, in the country. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Now, Dreamland, that sauce is dangerous. That sauce is good.
And it cleans your system out, too.
It's good.
If you got sinuses or anything like that, man, it just cleans you out.
Had it a couple times. Never liked the white sauce that much.
No, it's not white sauce. I'm talking about the Dreamland sauce. It's red.
What am I thinking? Who does white sauce? I thought that was Dreamland.
That's Big Bob Gibson's.
I said the white. They bring you a plate of white bread and the sauce.
White sauce.
Maybe I haven't had Dreamland. I don't know.
They bring white bread and red sauce to the table.
Thought I had, but
apparently
not.
At Dreamland, and
okay,
it's phenomenal. It's like an appetizer. You know how like most restaurants.
You got me talking about
bread?
Barbecue and thinking about our lunch at Dead End Point. I'm already tasting that grilled smoked bologna sandwich.
Hey man, you let me know, Chris, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
See you guys.
Yeah. Dreamland has the red sauce and the white slices of bread. Just simply white slices of bread. They bring it out to your table before you order, and all you do is just dip the white bread into the red sauce. That's it. And its sauce is amazing. Alabama, the state, is known for their white sauce.
Okay, so I have had it somewhere in the state of Alabama.
Yeah. So Alabama as a state is known for their white sauce, just like Carolinas is known for their vinegary sauce they use. Kansas City is known for their sweet and thick barbecue sauce. Memphis uses a little bit more of vinegar there in their sauce, but it's a red sauce as well. And so what you're thinking about is just the state of Alabama, not necessarily Dreamland. They don't really do the white sauce like that. It's Big Bob Gibson's that's in North Alabama, actually in Decatur, that is known for their white barbecue sauce. They take a half a chicken, they smoke it, and they dip the whole thing in white sauce, put it on a plate, serve it to you. It's good food. It's good eating.
I'm not saying this because I'm a Dead End fan and because they sponsor the show. I truly like Dead End better than Dreamland's.
Yeah.
When we went down to the Auburn game, we stopped at, it wasn't the original Dreamlands, but we stopped at the Dreamlands in Montgomery.
Yeah.
And I had a very bad experience.
Yeah.
And for me to have a bad experience at a restaurant, I am not one who, if it's not like cooked to a T that I send it back, it takes a lot for me to send my food back. I sent my food back. I got a loaded baked potato. The baked potato was like frozen. And like I had to like hit it in order to get the potato to mush.
Oh, yeah. Get
Gross.
It. Got to send it back, man. Got to send it back. 865-255-03. Huge thanks to Chris Lowe for joining us this morning. A lot of good stuff. I'm amazed by how quick things have fell apart at Louisville. A couple years ago, Lamar Jackson was leading Louisville for a chance to win the championship. I mean, it was their game against Clemson. It was that game that decided if they could get out of the ACC. They were one of the best teams in the conference, one of the best teams in the country. Lamar Jackson took the world by storm. I mean, really like the first quarterback to do what he was doing since like Michael Vick. Even Michael Vick said it himself. I mean, he was just electric, just fun to watch. And he's gone now, and look at where Louisville is today. 77-16.
Embarrassing.
Beat down to Clemson when you have guys quitting.
Those players quit a long time ago.
They did.
Unfortunately, if you're Louisville. To me, just in a larger picture, it's amazing to me how quickly college football can switch. Because a month ago, in terms of jobs this offseason, it was there's not going to be that one big job that opens up this offseason. The coaching change should be interesting to watch because you don't have Tennessee's not open, Nebraska isn't open, Florida's not open, UCLA. And now a month later, it's like, okay, it looks like Ohio State is going to open. It looks like USC might open. And I don't know about the whole buyout. I want to say Bobby Petrino's buyout situation is similar to Gus Malzahn's at Auburn, so they may not have a choice but to hang on to them. Charlie can look that up for us.
Yeah, I will.
But you all of a sudden you have three jobs open up, and Matt Campbell maybe going to Ohio State. That would get the dominoes rolling in the coaching effect. So kind of like how you mentioned, how you're surprised how quickly things have changed at Louisville. It's amazing to me in terms of jobs that might open, how quickly things have changed over the last couple of weeks with Urban and Ohio State losing, Bobby Petrino just utter disgrace to football.
Petrino's buyout currently $14 million. That's not going to be cheap.
You got to pay it, man. They
quit. You got to go.
Quit. You got to pay it.
Well, and then if you're Louisville, you cannot allow Jeff Brom to sit on the open market for another year.
Exactly.
Like I understand trying to save money, but if Jeff Brom is your guy, which he is, you have to go get him immediately because if you don't, Ohio State will go snatch him up. So somebody of that nature will. And that's why you saw Nebraska move so quickly to get Scott Frost because they could not have afforded to wait another year and hope that he's here a year from now.
Hey, man, Georgia fired, Mark Richt because they wanted Kirby Smart. And if Kirby Smart wasn't ready to come to Georgia, do they fire Mark Richt that year? I don't know, but you have to take advantage of the opportunity because you just never know when it may come again. I mean, Nick Saban's at Alabama. Nick Saban could have been at LSU. He could have been at Tennessee. He could have been at Georgia. He could have been at Florida State if that job was open, or Texas. But Alabama took advantage of an opportunity, and it paid off for them. So if you're Louisville, man, this is it for you. You eat that $14 million. Go get yourself a Jeff Brom that's going to bring the fan base together. He is a Louisville player himself. He'll bring that alumni together. It's time to get it done now.
Consideration here, though. Brom's buyout at Purdue is $22 million. It doesn't say what he would have to pay if he chooses to leave. But if his buyout is $22 million now, I got to imagine Louisville's going to have to pay a lot on both ends there. They're going to have to pay Petrino to leave, and they're almost definitely going to have to pay for Brom to get out of his contract at Purdue. So it will not be a cheap endeavor, but yeah.
If he wins football games,
you got it, man. You got to ditch Petrino. He's lost that team.
If he wins at Louisville, worth every penny.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and that
cures all. That's just set up on a tee for Louisville. They've really gotten, honestly, with their coaching hires, they've gotten lucky. Chris Mack was just sitting there, and he wanted that bigger job from Xavier, and now you got Jeff Brom. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
You have to let your fans know that you're serious about winning. And I know Tennessee fans can identify, because for the last 10 years, decisions have been made that as a fan, you question if leadership really values winning, values their fans. And if you're Louisville, look where you were with Pitino, with Bobby Petrino the first time, and both programs ranked in the top 25. You have to show them that you care about football and basketball. And that's why they went out and they were able to pull away Chris Mack from Xavier. Been so many teams that have called him over the years, including Tennessee, and he said, no, thank you. If you are Louisville, you're the leadership. You just had that thing happen with the Papa John dude. You had the thing with Rick Pitino. Now Bobby Petrino. You gotta make a commitment to winning. And so $14 million. Hey man, let it rip. You find out what you have to pay to get Braun, but that's your guy.
You might have
your guy for the next 15, 20 years.
Might have to go get Papa John back in the fold with this giant bill you're gonna have to pay. He's worth what, $500 million or whatever.
They got other money.
Go secretly get that Papa John money.
They got the KFC money, don't they?
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
True.
They'll find some other money. And this is a good lesson for us. We got boosters that give a lot of money, but they have not helped. They've hurt. And so at what point is the money more important than winning? You got to make a decision, Louisville. And for Louisville, they've had scandals. And we haven't had a scandal with our, see, what had happened was
I was about to say, yes, there has been a scandal with big donors in Tennessee very recently.
865-255-03 B Drive waterproofing hotline. Oh man. Whew.
Oh, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Can't forget about that scandal there. Wow. All right, 865-255-03 B Drive waterproofing hotline. Oh my goodness. Hour 3 is coming up around the corner. We'll start hour 3 with For What. But first, Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com is your orange and white headquarters. This Friday we'll be at Alumni Hall for you to get ready for the game this weekend between Tennessee and Kentucky. Blue's gonna be here, and I just hope that they in a little corner like normal.
I don't think they will.
I just hope that this little ranking hasn't blown these Kentucky fans' head up, and
I'm afraid
they buy a bunch of tickets.
I'm afraid we're going to have an Alabama type situation.
No way.
We'll talk about it after For What.
No way.
I think so.
No way.
Legitimate possibility.
Hour 3 coming up.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. The next thing you know, you're being arrested for DUI. Be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call DUI and criminal defense attorney Marcos Garza. Put this number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty, say Garza. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Gentlemen, when it comes to taking care of your health, sometimes the first step is the hardest. Low T Center is making it easier to take that first step. It all starts with knowing the numbers that are essential to a man. Testosterone levels, blood pressure, cholesterol, prostate, and thyroid. Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get all these levels checked and more. Low T Center specializes in men's health and has expanded their services, including sleep apnea, low thyroid, hypertension, severe allergies, high cholesterol, diabetes, and annual physicals, along with testosterone replacement therapy. The physicians at Low T Center not only want to help you feel good again, they want to help you prevent any serious health problems moving forward. Now, with the holistic approach to your overall health and wellness, Low T Center is making it more convenient for men to take care of their health, and most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify it for you. Take the first step for your health and call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388, or go to lowtcenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare.
Beatty Chevrolet is celebrating 85 years of low prices. And during Truck Month, choose from over 400 trucks and SUVs, all deeply discounted. Like a new Silverado, now 25% off. A new Equinox, now 20% off. And a certified pre-owned 15 Equinox or Terrain, now $16,995. Plus, buy with confidence with the Beatty warranty for life.
Big selection and even bigger savings. That's why it's better at Beatty Chevrolet.
Stock number 232, savings off MSRP, include optimum savings and manufacturer incentives with approved credit list finance through GMF. Offer expires 8/31/18.
Big Orange football is better alongside another Tennessee tradition, Mrs. Grissom's salad. Mrs. Grissom's ready-made snacks and meals are perfect for game day. Crowd favorites like the select pimento cheese and cranberry pecan chicken salad are delicious and easy to grab and go right from the grocery store. Going to the game? Visit Mrs. Grissom's in Vol Village for the must-have panini grilled pimento cheese hot dog. Man, select the best. Select Tennessee's own Mrs. Grissom's.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant. Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Huge thanks to Chris Lowe. Now, Ben, you got some splaining to do. You got some splaining to do, because you might want to think about your points instead of over there dancing and
I don't need to think about them.
Gyrating, doing whatever you're doing over there. You got some splaining to do. You said, sir, before the break, that the crowd this weekend could look like the Alabama crowd?
I do.
Also consider the Friday night before the game, there is a Kentucky basketball game.
And?
Explain yourself.
Lexington's only 2.5 hours
Everybody
away.
in Lexington cares about basketball.
Explain yourself, Ben. Let Ben explain yourself.
Did you see their Kentucky basketball Twitter meltdown last night?
True.
Right now, their focus is on getting to a New Year's Six bowl game, whether that be the Fiesta Bowl or the Sugar Bowl. Kentucky fans have a chance to witness history this weekend. Kentucky has not beaten Tennessee in Knoxville since 1984. Point being, Kentucky fans are still very excited for football season, even though they are out of contention in the East. They are going to make the trip down here. I don't think it's that far away. Alabama fans, they bought up all their tickets. And they weren't even that excited for the game. They just wanted to be there. So I think you combine the excitement level of Kentucky fans, the fact that it's a short drive, and I think Tennessee fans haven't completely checked out on the football season because there's still a chance to go to the bowl game. But I think a lot of Tennessee fans are nervous about this weekend and nervous about Tennessee being blown out. Maybe not blown out, but Tennessee losing to Kentucky, not making a bowl game. So I think some fans that are kind of that are normally 50-50 on whether or not to go to a football game, I think they're going to sit this one out and watch it from home. So, like I said, the fact that Lexington isn't far away, there's a ton of excitement surrounding Kentucky football right now, and their fans travel well. I am concerned about there being a lot of Kentucky blue rather, in Neyland Stadium this weekend.
I remember a couple of years ago, I want to say it was 14, and I remember this because Arian Foster's mom had come to a game. Arian was playing for, I want to say, the Texans at the time, and the Texans were playing the Titans that Sunday. And so she came in and she went to a Tennessee game. And I remember standing there, and I was on the sideline during that game, and I was like, there's way too many Alabama people here. I mean, RVs were parked everywhere. I mean, it was unreal. I've never seen an away team travel like this. Now that the college football playoff is a thing, I feel like Alabama fans who would travel to Knoxville and would travel to other places, I think maybe they're saving their money to go to that playoff semifinal or the national championship. I don't see Kentucky traveling that well. Now, I do think there'll be more blue here in 18 than there was in 16.
Ever?
Yeah, I mean, I do think there'll be more blue, but I don't think it's going to even come close because there was times in that 14 game that I would look up in the crowd and I didn't know who the home team was. I mean, it was like red and orange. It was like 60-40. It should never be 60-40. It was like 60-40.
That's what it was a couple weeks ago.
And I don't think Kentucky will even get close to that. Kentucky basketball is king. They'll travel for that. I mean, did you see how well they traveled for that game yesterday?
I want to say I saw somebody say it was 90% Kentucky fans.
Now, that's only – I mean, Indianapolis is only, 2 hours away?
The same distance to Knoxville?
Yeah, I mean –
maybe. I don't know. It's like 2 hours from Louisville, so maybe 3.
So what you're saying is Knoxville is shorter of a distance from Lexington than Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I think
– but that's basketball. That's basketball.
But I think
Kentucky football does not mean the same thing to Kentucky fans as his basketball team does.
Correct. But where you're wrong is Kentucky means a lot to Kentucky fans, and I think both of you are underestimating just how well Kentucky fans travel. I don't necessarily think that
in basketball.
No, in general, they support their teams, regardless of the sport. Yes, they are a basketball school. But when football is doing well, even when baseball or women's basketball, those sports that Charlie likes to talk about all the time, when those sports are doing well, they travel and they support those teams. Kentucky fans care about Kentucky first and foremost, and they are willing to jump on the bandwagon of any Kentucky sport outside of basketball to support them. And, again, I don't think that Kentucky is going to reach Alabama level. I'm saying it would not surprise me, and I think there is a danger zone there if you're a Tennessee fan. Now, I do think Tennessee has the benefit of, with the Alabama game, a lot of Tennessee fans sat at home because they didn't want to watch Alabama destroy Tennessee in person. You won't have that this weekend. At least there is hope of Tennessee winning, trying to make a bowl game, so I do think you'll have more Tennessee fans show up. But I do think we will see a lot of Kentucky blue in Neyland Stadium this weekend, unfortunately.
Maybe.
It better not be 70-30.
I would just
That's
say.
all I'm saying. It won't be 70-30. It better not be like, oh, my gosh. Look at all. I mean, whoa. Like, man, look at all these Kentucky fans. Like, it better be. Hopefully it's not that noticeable. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, surely the winnability of this game for Tennessee will encourage Tennessee fans to not sell their tickets like they did against Alabama.
Exactly.
I mean, that Alabama game was all hope is lost. Tennessee's going to lose by 40, and they did. But this one, you got a bowl game on the line. This is winnable. Kentucky is one-dimensional. Benny Snell did get hurt against Georgia. Like, this thing is not out of reach. And the bottom line being, even if you think it's out of reach, do not sell your tickets to Kentucky fans.
Correct.
Don't do it.
Well, what do you think the percentage of Tennessee to Kentucky fans will be on Saturday? I think it's anywhere from 65-70 Tennessee to 30-35.
I think it's going to be 30% Kentucky fans?
Absolutely not.
I would say at most 15.
Yeah, I don't.
I think there's going to be a heavy portion of Kentucky fans in Neyland Stadium this week.
1585, which to me, that's a good turnout for Kentucky. 1585.
65-45 is Bama. I mean, that's Bama level right there. I mean, that's 2014 Bama. I mean, you get 40%, 45% of the stadium wearing red or blue. That's a lot. I don't think Kentucky gets anywhere close to that.
I mean, you say
it's still Kentucky football we're talking about. Alabama football is like money for them.
No, I understand. I understand that.
I look at Tennessee basketball and how we travel. Yes, we love our teams, but our fans don't travel for Tennessee basketball like they did in the bowl game at Florida. You know, a couple years ago when we played in Tax Slayer Bowl, it's not the same. And same thing for Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky fans love their sports. They're proud of their sports. But there's a huge difference between basketball and football. They'll travel a little bit, but it ain't going to be 45%, I don't think.
I would say think about those numbers. Let's say 100,000 people show up to this game in total, because this is easy on percentages. 15% is 15,000 people. Rupp Arena holds 21,000 people or something like 22,000 people. I mean, that would be 15% alone would be a phenomenal, a remarkable turnout for Kentucky fans.
I think we'll see around 30. I think you two are underestimating Kentucky fans and how close they are.
I've never seen it.
Their once-in-a-lifetime season that they are having.
I've never seen it. Maybe this is the solar eclipse.
And again, I also think there is a small portion of Tennessee's fan base that has somewhat checked out in the sense of really going out of their way to go to games. Like, they're still paying attention to Tennessee football. They still love Tennessee football, but maybe they're not fully committed to going to games.
Yeah, I mean, I got people that send me tickets to give out. Hopefully some of those folks do that and give it to another Tennessee fan or allow another Tennessee fan to buy them instead of allowing a Kentucky fan to buy them.
Look, and I hope I'm wrong. I 100% hope I'm wrong. And honestly, I would not be surprised if I am wrong, because Tennessee fans, they show up, they show out time and time again, regardless of the situation. Even last year, I mean, at the end of the season, LSU, Vanderbilt, they weren't sellouts, but they were still – that stadium was fairly orange. So Tennessee fans continue to show up and show out. So it wouldn't surprise me if I'm wrong, and I hope I am wrong. But I do think Kentucky fans are really excited right now about Kentucky football. And I think, it's basketball season, but I think that's being a little bit overblown.
We'll see. PDD agrees with Ben. There will be a lot of blue in Neyland on Saturday. There'll be more blue than normal. But are we talking about half of the stadium being blue?
No. I'm not talking about that.
Because in 2014, it felt like half of the stadium was Alabama red. That's what I'm talking about. That's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
But will there be more Kentucky fans? More? Come on.
Like, I think I'll set my final number of what I think it'll be. I think it'll be 70% Tennessee fans, 30% Kentucky fans.
That would be a shameful turnout for Tennessee.
Did you see the student section last weekend for homecoming?
I did. Wasn't good.
And I get that it was against Charlotte, but it was homecoming.
Yeah.
And in normal homecoming games, the student section is at least full until halftime.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that.
Yeah. 865-250-5503, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline, Hour 3, powered by Low T Center, lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare.
For what is coming up on the Swain Event.
Today will be mostly sunny and windy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. There is an 80% chance of rain tomorrow with a high near 70 and a low of 56. Friday, look for more rain with a high in the upper 50s. Weather on the Swain Event is brought to you by B-Dry. If your basement is wet or cracked, B-Dry can help. BDry.com. Do you have cracks in your foundation? A wet basement or a nasty, leaky crawl space? Our listeners have heard about them on the Swain Event for over a year, and now it's time to make the call. Give B-Dry Waterproofing and Foundation Repair the opportunity to fix your home's problem. Since 1958, That's right, nearly 60 years, B-Dry has been solving basement, crawl space, and foundation problems throughout the country. B-Dry only uses high-quality materials from reputable manufacturers. They back their installations with some of the best warranties in the industry to provide homeowners with added peace of mind. They are truly an A-plus company. Whenever you start experiencing a wet basement, leaky crawl space, or a cracked foundation, remember these 3 words: better call B-Dry. Reach out to B-Dry today at 865-662-5238 to schedule your free appointment. That's 865-662-5238. Remember, better call B-Dry.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team. We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost that it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
Dan Mullen posing awkwardly with recruits.
For what?
Gators working out wearing costumes.
For what?
Vanderbilt making a sorority-style video.
For what?
Aaron Murray and David Pollock opening their mouths.
For what?
It is that time, gentlemen. 4 for what? Right here on the Swain Event, 8:50 a.m., 100.9 FM, Rocky Top Sports. Ben McKee, Charlie Burrs, Jason Swain here on a beautiful Wednesday. Man, it was gorgeous yesterday, man. It's about 65 degrees. It was perfect.
So nice.
Perfect yesterday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get the same day today without any rain.
I think it's supposed to sit in the 50s for most of the day, which I am not a fan of.
A little cool for my taste.
Anything below 70, I am not a fan of. I have a for what for the Ottawa Senators. I don't know if a lot of people have been paying attention to what's going on, but recently they just, in that Uber driver posted it to YouTube, and there's been a whole back and forth about the privacy and things of that nature. But last night, the Ottawa Senators were playing at home, and you know what's the little things that run along the stadium that have the advertisements?
The video ribbon.
Yeah, like the video ribbon.
Yeah.
Neyland Stadium has it where you'll see Dead End flash up there and whatnot.
Thompson Bowling just got it.
Yes. And B-Dry.
Yep.
And then, so last night, they ran an Uber ad on the little video tape and said, you bring the noise, we bring the ride.
Wow.
Ottawa, I know you're all about getting the money, but I don't know if rolling with an Uber ad in that particular situation was the right way to go, all things considered.
Maybe get you a Lyft ad, just
Yes.
switch over. Uber needs to sit this one out.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that one's bad. I listened to a podcast with some former players, and they were incensed about that because they said it's honestly a common thing to chirp your coach like that, and And for somebody to release it is just really crappy. Shouldn't have been a situation to begin with. But
it's pretty common.
Yeah. But this had multiple people sit in for What's a Day, and they're all awesome. But and I'll do them later this week. But this trumped everything when Swain showed me this, and I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, clean it up.
I will. But dead man wins Nevada election. A Nevada brothel owner and reality TV star who died last month after fashioning himself as a Donald Trump-style Republican candidate has won a heavily GOP state legislative district. This is from the AP. I'm just reading straight from what they said. Dennis Hoff defeated Lacia Romanov on Tuesday in the race for Nevada's 36th Assembly District, which includes rural communities and large stretches of the desert in that part of the state. So probably not a huge voter base out there in the Nevada desert. But the only problem with electing Dennis Hoff is that on October 16th, he died. After a weekend of parties celebrating his 72nd birthday, he was found dead. The cause of death is still unknown, but no one suspects foul play. Seems he partied himself to death in a sense. He owns brothels, or owned, I guess, post-sense here, owned brothels in Nevada and operates them legally and has had his own reality show on HBO called Cat House. It's for grown-ups, so to speak. But how does Lacia Romanoff feel? When I read this, I was like, that's the first thing that I thought. How are you going to lose to a dead person? He's dead. He can't take the office.
Well,
what happens
to
now?
the voters?
Seriously,
how do you vote?
That's the biggest for what by far.
How do you vote for a dead guy?
Exactly.
Yeah, they get it for what, I guess.
I mean, just all the way around. This is a giant for what, and I don't know what will happen now. It doesn't say in this article where exactly this seat will go to. Maybe they have to have another runoff. I don't know. But absolutely ridiculous. So Nevada, in a general sense, gets a huge for what?
Yes.
I'm going to the for what capital of the world. I'm going to Florida, where, according to breaking911.com, Florida man strips to his underwear and Crocs and then jumps into a crocodile pool, gets bitten, climbs out, jumps in again. St. Augustine, Florida. Officials say a Florida man jumped into a crocodile exhibit at the St. Augustine Alligator Farm early Tuesday and was bitten by at least one of the animals. Staff told local media that they were troubled to arrive to work and find blood near the exhibit and signs of a break-in. A break-in. So this dude broke into a place of business that's what they do. They have a ton of crocodiles and alligators. It's the alligator farm. And he jumps in, gets bitten, and then he jumps back in. This guy is on something.
Meth is a powerful drug.
Sounds like a regular Monday in Florida, to be honest.
He's on something. The suspect is expected to survive his injuries. Officials say the crocodiles appear to be okay. And I'm glad that people didn't blame the alligator and kill the alligator here. Alligator minding his own business, hanging out, chilling out with his friends. Alfonso, Theodore,
Alvin,
the three gators hanging out, and you got this dude jumping in their pool, messing with them. I'm just glad that no one hurt the alligators here.
Well, did you see, and I'll retweet it, but I believe this was a separate incident, but somewhere else in Florida, there was a man trying to make a great escape, is what this news person says, by straddling a fence, and he is like a gator exhibit.
That's a for what right there, man. That hurts.
Well, yes, 100%. I mean, and I'm watching the video right now. He is sitting squarely on the fence, skirting across it.
Impressive.
Very impressive. To the left, a swamp with hundreds of alligators. To his right, the crocodile exhibit. And this man is just scooting along the top of this fence at night.
Well, I mean, I would probably do the same thing if I was in that position. The question is, how did you get in that position?
Correct.
Shouldn't you be at home, sleep, or doing something else? But, yeah, this guy gets it for what? So, really strong for what's today here on the show. Wow. 865-255-03, B-Dry Waterproof Hotline. So, folks agree with you, Ben. They think that the crowd's gonna be orange. So, we'll see. We shall see. People tune in because so many people hate them and want them to lose, talking about the Kentucky Duke game. No, Alabama LSU game. That being rated higher than some Monday Night Football game. So
Titans, it was rated higher than Titans Cowboys, which I was a little bit surprised because even though some of the primetime NFL games have been lackluster and the Titans aren't a huge draw nationally, I was kind of surprised to see Alabama LSU outrate them because even Titans Cowboys or Titans versus anybody is going to outrate simply because it's Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football.
So,
Vol Nation on the text box says Tennessee's depth is key to them doing something special this season. Like the Warriors bench, it makes them difficult to beat. Tennessee will have this. That's weird. Tennessee will have that this season. Just another thing Duke would have problems with. Our size, strength, physicality, athleticism is off the charts. Going to be something to see this season. And I think that's a really good point. When you have that second team in there, there's normally a drop-off, a huge drop-off. But for Tennessee, man, it may not be a drop-off.
Yeah, and a couple of messages before that on the text box. D-Wade 2201, he said, okay, guys, I get it. Our football team is miserable to watch, so when we see our basketball team, it's understandable to be excited. But we aren't as deep as you're making it sound. If Bowden or Bound gets in foul trouble, who's coming in? We have post depth, but guard depth could be a concern as we get deeper into the season, especially in the SEC and NCAA tournament. Well, Rick Barnes said it last night. He's not focused on playing a number 2 when the number 2 goes out. He's not focused on playing a legitimate point guard when Jordan Bone goes out. He's not worried about a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. He's focused on getting the 5 best guys on the floor, which is why you see Yves Pons guarding the opponent's best ball handler, the opponent's point guard, Jordan Bowden guarding the opponent's point guard. And even Durant Williams and Admiral Schofield can kind of step up and play the 3 and even the 2. We saw Durant last night playing point forward. So, yeah, they don't have, like, true defined backup shooting guards, backup point guards, but they like to use Yves Pons' length. They're going to use Jalen Johnson's length. Derek Walker, he's very agile for a power forward. He can play a little bit of the 3. John Fulkerson is agile. They just have a group of athletes that can really just come in and play everywhere.
No, I get where D-Wade's coming from, and I think Rick Barnes said it perfectly. I think you said it too, is it's not like football where, okay, you have this defensive line, and ideally you want 8 guys that you can rotate in and out and it not be a huge drop-off. So, you know, if you got a really good defensive end, he's first team, okay, let's say he gets hurt, he gets tired, you want the next defensive end to come in and it not be a huge drop-off. That's depth. That is what you consider a deep defensive line. Well, basketball is a little bit different. If you have guys who are versatile, if you have guys who can bring the ball up, if you have guys who can shoot if they are moved into the 3 spot or the 2 spot, it's about putting the best 5 out there. And if the first 5 is out there, then they take a break or something like that, and then the next 5 are out there, and there's no drop-off, that also means that you're deep. So I get what D-Wade is talking about, but Rick Barnes explained that perfectly. You did a really good job of reminding us of what Rick Barnes said. So that's how this team is deep.
And that's also another way basketball has evolved. There's no longer the true point guard, the true shooting guard, true small forward, true power forward, and you don't really see a whole lot of centers anymore. That's why you see the Admiral Schofields who can play the 3, the 4, and bringing the ball up the court. Durant Williams can do the same. And I like Vol Nation's point about the depth. I mean, look at the Houston Rockets and what the bench meant to them last season. That bench that the Rockets had last year almost allowed them to upset the Warriors in the playoffs, and then you lose guys like Trevor Ariza in the offseason. You don't have a bench, and now they're off to a miserable start this season.
Well, it's like Tennessee's Bruce Pearl teams. I mean, yeah, you had a point guard in the program, but J.P. Prince can bring the ball up. Mm-hmm. You know, he can get the rebound and bring it up himself. I mean, Wayne Chisholm can do the same thing. I mean, you had a lot of guys that can do different things, and it made it hard to defend those guys. I will compare it to football a little bit. So if you're an offense coordinator and you have a group of wide receivers that are smart, that have great football intelligence, they're unselfish, you have tight end, you have running backs, skill positions who are smart and they know exactly where everyone else is playing. You can be really creative in what you do. You can line up the tight end and wide receiver. You can line up the wide receiver and running back, put him in motion. You can do so many different things because they're versatile, because they're smart. What gets you in trouble is when you're pigeonholed and you have a receiver who's not that smart and he only knows one position. And then you have a running back who's not that smart and he doesn't know what to do if you line him up in any other place besides behind the quarterback. It limits you. It limits what you can do versatility-wise. It limits your creativity. Related to basketball, when you have a bunch of dudes who can dribble, shoot, pass, and it doesn't matter what position you play, you can move guys around.
Exactly. And that's what Tennessee basketball has.
Yeah, you can put Grant really at the 3 if you want to. You can put Grant at the 4 and let the dude bring the ball up the court if you want to. How many power forwards can play true on-the-ball defense? I mean, Grant can put some guys at a serious disadvantage. So I'm not necessarily concerned about Jordan Bone going out because Lamonte Turner can bring the ball up. Jordan Bowen can bring the ball up. We saw last night that Grant Williams, he is doing that now. As long as you get in the offense. Everyone understands the offense. If you understand the offense, you have a grasp of what everyone is doing. Anyone can bring the ball up. Yep. Just get into the offense. Let's go. Move, cut, read screens. Let's go. Create spacing. I mean, read what the defense is giving you. If you can do that, it doesn't really matter who brings the ball up. Just like in football, it doesn't really matter who you put at what position. If everyone knows what they're supposed to do, if everyone's smart about how to play the game, you can be very, very, very versatile. So that's –
and I think you saw kind of the flip side of what you're talking about with Kentucky last night because Cal came into that game, John Calipari, talking about how he wanted to have a sort of positionless team. I think he used those words. And it was clear that his team didn't have a full grasp on that. Like what you're saying, you want a team that is as versatile as possible. You have a Grant Williams that can run point right now, and it takes a lot of experience and it takes a lot of know-how and a lot of basketball IQ to have a team like that. And I'm sure Kentucky will get there. They are definitely one of those teams, like we say every year with Kentucky. Oh, they'll be good by March. Yeah, they will. But right now, that it takes a steep learning curve, and it is very much in Tennessee's advantage that this team is coming back almost in its entirety from last year, and they can just keep building on having every guy ready to play at, basically every position, so to speak. You're not going to put Kyle Alexander up top, but it makes Tennessee really dangerous.
They do put Kyle up top to an extent of where he kind of facilitates.
But not taking the ball up court.
Correct. Yeah, he is more of a facilitator.
He's an outlet.
He's a facilitator. And Grant ran the 3 a couple different times last night, and when he did, when Jordan Bone was in the game, they put Yves Pons at 2 when Jordan Bowden was subbed out, and then they ran with Grant at the 3, Fulkerson at the 4, and Derek Walker at the 5. I guess you could – they don't really have a true defined 4 and a 5. You could kind of mismatch those. And then later in the game when Bone went out, they shifted Bowden to point guard, put Yves at the 2, Grant at the 3, and then Fulkerson and Derek Walker down low. So I think this team is just very multidimensional. And then they were also missing Lamonte Turner. Right? You're going to get some Lamonte Turner at both backup point guard and backup shooting guard, and they don't even view him as a backup. Rick Barnes continues to say that they view him as a 6th starter. It's just, unfortunately, in basketball, you can only play 5 players at once.
Yep. Lamonte combo guard can do both, man. He can bring it up the court. He can set up behind 3-point line and knock down shots too. PDD says Braun can get a better job than Louisville. Yeah, Scott Frost could get a better job than Nebraska last year too, but decided to go to Nebraska because that's where his heart was. So
I think Jeff Brom could get Ohio State if he really wanted it.
I think he can too. Let's see. Augusta Vall, South Carolina has mustard-based sauce. Georgia has vinegar-based. And when I mentioned Carolina's having vinegar base, I was more talking about North Carolina. So that's my bad. I keep forgetting about the state of South Carolina. My bad.
I can say my favorite place to get barbecue is the state of Texas. I have family down there, and they do more dry rubs, stuff like that. Ooh, it's hard to beat. Good Texas brisket.
No one does brisket like Texas, man. It's amazing. Not in the state does brisket like Texas. It's good stuff. All right, hour 3 continues after this.
If you love the Swain Event and you want more of the show every day, you can now get it with Swain Event Plus. Swain Event Plus features exclusive, in-depth interviews with former Vols.
She saved my life. I probably would have never made the comments, man.
I looked at him and said, Coach, no disrespect. I'm going to Tennessee. I'm going to play in the SEC.
With Swain Event Plus, you can also get access to the exclusive podcast Reel on the Hill with Tennessee media legend John Bryce.
What is going on there with that battle?
I had lunch with some folks over the course of this past week who indicated some inside the program believe that Jarrett Garantano is really ready to take that next step.
So go to SwainEventPlus.com right now to sign up and check out all of the amazing extras that you can get. That's SwainEventPlus.com. Get more.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
VFL's Jason Swain and Todd Kelly here with our Men on Football and Smoothie segment. Let's discuss some of our favorite smoothies and how they impact our lives. TK, man, tell me which smoothie comes to mind when you think about playing defense?
Swain-O, the Peanut Butter Power Plus and the Power Punch Plus provide the energy needed to make plays every time they take the field. Then you have the Gladiator and the Hawk, nutrition every dominant player has to have. Bottom line, everyone wants to be a dominant player. Now, Swain, you tell me about the offensive side of the ball.
TK, it's simple. You always score with Smoothie King. The shredder personifies what we are going to do to opposing defenses. The Berry Punch and Activator will light up the scoreboard. And in case we need to go into overtime, the Pure Recharge will put us over the top for the win.
Swain-O, you know I love football and Smoothie King. I'm a VFL, a Smoothie King for life. The Chocolate Gladiator and the Chocolate Shredder with the scoop of peanut butter, oh, that's my go-to smoothie. They get a chest bump all day.
Yes, sir. This concludes our Men on Football and Smoothie King segment for today. Don't forget the Sip by Sip program. Use Smoothie King as a meal replacement 5 or more times a week, and you'll feel and see the difference. Smoothie King, the healthy alternative to fast food. Delicious and nutritious. TK?
Don't forget the peanut butter. Yeah, boy.
Gentlemen, when it comes to taking care of your health, sometimes the first step is the hardest. Low T Center is making it easier to take that first step. It all starts with knowing the numbers that are essential to a man. Testosterone levels, blood pressure, cholesterol, prostate, and thyroid. Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get all these levels checked and more. Low T Center specializes in men's health and has expanded their services, including sleep apnea, low thyroid, hypertension, severe allergies, high cholesterol, diabetes, and annual physicals, along with testosterone replacement therapy. The physicians at Low T Center not only want to help you feel good again, they want to help you prevent any serious health problems moving forward. Now, with the holistic approach to your overall health and wellness, Low T Center is making it more convenient for men to take care of their health, and most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify for you. Take the first step for your health and call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388, or go to lowtcenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt. Are you serious, Coach? That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Eight 255 B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Here on the Swain Event, hopefully J. Scott VFL is right from the text box. He says, about to be the worst sports week in the history of Kentucky athletics. If Tennessee can pull off this upset and beat Kentucky, you add that with their loss. Well, I guess you can call it a loss. Probably should call it more of a beatdown.
It was a funeral.
Of a clinic.
It was a funeral. That
occurred yesterday when Duke just laid the smack down. And that's the thing that's just – yeah, Nick Saban, he's great. But Chris Lowe said it. Nick Saban has evolved. Look at these great coaches who have evolved. Coach K is right there. Oh, you want to do one and dones? Okay, I can do one and dones. I mean, the guy who used to go out and get guys like Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, Elton Brand, Shane Battier, J.J. Redick, and then develop them. 3-year, 4-year players. Oh, you want to get one of them done? Okay, that's where we're going with this college game. I'll get them too. And boom.
No, it is funny because I remember when, I guess it was around the time where Zion committed to Duke, and I remember hearing Matt Jones, the phenomenal, I don't mean this in a bad way, but the loud mouth of the Kentucky fan base. I mean, he is the voice of the fans.
He is.
For Kentucky Sports Radio.
Yeah, he's a man.
Let
me DM him right now.
What we need to get him on because he always says something that riles people up, and I find it hilarious.
He might be sick this morning, man. He might be sick.
Yeah, he's preparing for his show by drinking alcohol, a lot of it this morning.
He might be
but
sick.
I want to say it was on Feinbaum. He went on there and was kind of making fun of Coach K for copying Cal in the one-and-done approach because for such a long time, Coach K, while he has had his fair share of one-and-dones, he has kind of avoided just going all in on the one-and-dones like Kentucky has, where your entire starting lineup is full of one-and-dones. This is the first time that Duke has really done that. And it was funny at the time to listen to Kentucky fans and Matt Jones kind of make fun of Coach K for that, and then turn around opening night, and as you were saying, Swain, Duke is beating Kentucky at its own game.
Could I don't know. This is extreme, but in a small sense, could Cal end up a bit like Gus Malzahn? Gus Malzahn revolutionizing the spread offense, and then turning around and getting his butt whipped with the spread offense.
No, not at all.
Like it's like I said it. You know, it's a bit of an extreme, but in a sense,
I get your point.
Yeah,
I don't think so because I know some people don't want to admit it, but Coach Cal is a good basketball coach. I do think Coach K is better. He's not the best in the country, and what he's best at.
Who's not the best in the country?
Cal.
Oh, okay.
Cal in game is an inferior coach. Calipari is not anywhere near the top of great in-game coaches. He's a great coach in the way that he builds teams.
Correct. But he's still a good in-game coach. Just because he's not great doesn't mean he's bad at it. He doesn't get to where he is today being a bad in-game coach.
No.
And at the end of the day, he's at Kentucky, so I don't see a Gus Malzahn-like situation playing out at Kentucky.
And in reality, I think Cal is actually, he's a decent in-game coach, but he puts himself at such a disadvantage because he brings in these young guys that in the middle of a game against Duke, he has to be like screaming at them like elementary basketball elements because they're freshmen, because they've never played college basketball. The game's faster. It comes at you a lot harder. And and he's having to like teach on the fly.
Yeah.
So he puts himself in a bit of a disadvantage with the way that he recruits. But K has the formula down. It's clear and it's horrifying.
He's the best basketball coach in America.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect when you have the top 3 players in high school coming out, and they come into you, one being a once-in-a-lifetime type of athletic talent in Zion Williamson. That's why he left the state. That's why he didn't go to Clemson or South Carolina, because he wanted to take his game to the next level. He wanted to be taught by the best, how to shoot, how to pass, understanding the game. Yeah, he can go to Clemson, be the big man on campus, do whatever he wanted to do, or South Carolina. But he wanted to be coached by the best. So I don't blame Zion for going to Duke at all. But you take the best talent with the best coach, what do you think is going to happen?
I think the funniest aspect of Duke having that big 3 is that they still got the number 10 player in the country, and he's their starting point guard, Tyus Jones' little brother. I think that's so funny. And then, as much as we love Zion, I mean, ESPN had a camera following Zion around before the game, and he's not even the best player on the team. That's
R.J. Barrett was their leading scorer.
Although I don't know, I think I'd just take Zion number 1. His athleticism is once in a lifetime.
I'm taking Barrett over Zion.
That's going to be a fun debate.
I know, man. I know. 865-255-03, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. We'll try to get Matt Jones on tomorrow, Ben. So communicating back and forth.
So he responds to you, but he doesn't respond to me, huh?
See, what had happened was
I should have texted him. That's what I should have done.
You know, maybe his Twitter was, I can't make an excuse for him.
Look, here's what it is. You have 54,000 followers. I have 2,000 followers. You are well known. I am not well known.
Did you email him? I've had varying success.
I DM'd him.
Okay.
And he usually responds to me every time because I've gotten him on the show back in the spring when we were previewing Kentucky football, last year for Kentucky Week in basketball. And granted, I did DM him yesterday afternoon around 4 or 5.
He wasn't ready, man. He wasn't mentally ready to talk to anyone. He was getting himself ready for the basketball game.
I probably messaged him at a bad time.
Yeah, let's go with that excuse.
But the real excuse is that I'm a nobody. You're Hollywood.
That's not true. You have booked him on the show before. You have talked to him before. It just was a time. And there's times when I'll reach out to some folks and, they don't reach back out to me like a day or 2 later. In DJ Shockley's case, a week later. So, I mean, hey, you busy. You're busy sometimes. That's right, DJ. I'm calling you out. Thought we was friends, man.
Still hasn't come on the show.
865-255-03. I don't want to talk about Georgia. Forget Georgia.
Well, Georgia Week, it would have been nice to have him on because y'all have a nice little entertaining back and forth.
Yeah, he disappeared on me Georgia Week. But, I mean, hey, he's in a different role this year. I mean, he's color. Color commentating during the games. He's doing a really good job. And so this is new for him. And I respect that. But that's my guy right there. Maybe for the SEC championship game, something like that, we'll have him on.
Now, Jason, you need to be careful about calling him a color commentator. Because if you recall, for those who
gotta be careful,
who weren't loyal Swain Event listeners last year, I don't even remember which analyst. Maybe it was like Rod Gilmore or somebody like that. Yeah. I mentioned that he was the color commentator for Tennessee's basketball game, and somebody came at me telling me that I was racist because the color commentator, which is what his role is and what his job title is, and he happened to be African-American as well.
Classic.
Yeah.
Somebody came at me sideways. So just be careful calling DJ a color commentator.
Yeah. Well, the booth is segregated.
Yes.
And so you have the colored side of the booth, and you have the white side of the booth, or whatever other side of the booth. And so, yeah, of course. I mean, it's segregated. Who didn't know that, right?
Jeez.
Who didn't know that? Yeah, DJ Shockley, man. It's,
I was so mad that day.
When I read it, I was like, wait, what?
We were trying to think about what I said.
I remember we didn't really understand. We were like, what is he saying? Oh, he thinks Ben is racist.
I'm like, what? Oh, my gosh, man. Reach of the year right there. Justin on the text box says, I'm disappointed in you guys. You left out Golden Boy Shiano from these potential job openings. Yeah, he's not getting a job. anytime soon. We don't need to go back over
I think
that.
he would be great for the Cleveland Browns job.
Or
when the Bengals fire
Marvin Lewis.
For some reason, I wanted to say Lovie Smith. When the Bengals fire Marvin Lewis after they miss the playoffs once again with all that talent, and the Steelers are in the playoffs, Greg Schiano would be a great fit with the Bengals as well.
Yeah,
or John Harbaugh when he gets fired here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I think he needs to be defense coordinator of the Steelers.
Speaking of the Steelers, I don't want to talk about the Steelers, but just real quick.
I don't either.
This isn't about the Steelers. It kind of is. Mike Tomlin's son yesterday was the first high school recruit to commit to Maryland. Did you have any weird thoughts about that? Because I kind of looked at that sideways, that like of all people to commit to Maryland after everything they've been through, it's Mike Tomlin's son. Like I thought that was weird.
How many offers does Mike Tomlin's son have?
I don't know. Let me go look.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you got Maryland, and then you have like, no offense to these schools I'm about to name, but if you got like UTC and you have, Furman, which one are you going to? UTC, Furman, or Maryland?
UTC.
You're probably going to Maryland.
According to 247, he had offers from Maryland.
Really?
Albany. Army. Brown. Columbia. Dartmouth. Duquesne. I don't even know how to say it.
Duquesne.
Sorry. Excuse my
Duke,
ignorance.
yes,
Fordham, Holy Cross, Howard, Iowa State, Pittsburgh, Robert Morris, Toledo, Yale.
That's my point.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's the point right there.
Yeah.
That's why.
Something tells me that his offer to Pittsburgh and Iowa State maybe not committable.
maybe not, man. Maybe not. 865-255-03 B-Drive Waterproof Hotline. Now, so Mike, I've been wondering if we are a true basketball school instead of football. Now I know. 3 hours of basketball talk. LOL, great show, guys. Hey, man, what was it, last week or a couple days ago? We're going to get some basketball talk. Basketball was played last night with the Tennessee Volunteers. You got basketball talk. And, hey, they're going to be a good team. Now, Tennessee is playing Kentucky this weekend, and we'll have Matt Jones on tomorrow. We'll talk Tennessee, Kentucky. Football a little bit more, but, hey, Tennessee basketball, man, we don't get a lot of opportunity to talk about a team that's preseason ranked top 5 and have a legitimate shot of reaching the Final Four. We don't see that every day. And so, Tennessee football, get better. Get better. Get better. Not so Mike is all football, though.
And I think
he's all Tennessee
There are a
football.
lot of people like that.
He's all Tennessee football.
And I don't think he was being serious.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he was ragging us about the 3 hours. I think a lot of people enjoyed the basketball talk because of how fun this team is. And we'll get back to Kentucky Thursday and Friday and then even Monday.
As much as I love talking myself into Tennessee somehow having a chance to win this weekend, I have to admit that I have a little more fun talking about a dominant Tennessee basketball.
Well, and to your point about talking yourself into a Tennessee win over Kentucky, I can feel myself. I can tell it's game week.
Yep.
Against a legitimate opponent because each day that goes by, I'm like, well, if Tennessee could just limit Benny Snell, maybe the offense can produce and hang in there.
I've just found that earlier this week I brought up, could the mental side of things be a factor with Kentucky? Meaning, Tennessee's just beaten them for however many times in the last 35 years. And I will say the mental side of things is definitely there for me because I don't consider Kentucky like good in my head. Every time I think about this game, I'm like, oh, it's just Kentucky. You know? But then you think about it a little bit harder and you're like, well, they are really good. But it's Kentucky. You can't lose to Kentucky. I've just found myself having that conversation with myself.
Yeah. I'll tell you the feeling in the building. I mean, the feeling in the building is that they can win this game. And,
should be.
That was not the feeling against Alabama. I mean, everybody knew the deal. But you look at Kentucky, and they have a team that's very experienced, no doubt about it. You look at that secondary, you look at that defense, it's juniors and seniors, man. It's juniors and seniors that have been doing the same things offensively and defensively for the last 3 or 4 years. So, of course, you're going to perfect that. You're going to perfect, the scheme. When I look at us on the outside, if it's one-on-one with Callaway versus their DBs or Josh Palmer versus their DBs, I think we win most of those battles. Where Kentucky may give Tennessee some problems is with some alignment, with maybe some disguise. That is something that you always have to consider when you're playing against a team that has this much experience. They're able to disguise things. Remember when Najee Warrior was playing as a true freshman and we had to play some basic cover 2 because we just couldn't do some things defensively because Najee was so wet behind the ears. Well, Kentucky doesn't have that problem because they have all seniors in the back end. So now you have to rely on your keys if you are a wide receiver. Pre-snap reads are so important. When you line up, you better be looking at the safeties alignment. You better be looking at who is stacked. If you have a corner stacked over another Kentucky defender or a DB stacked over a Kentucky linebacker, okay, there may be a blitz. You have to read the safety. The safety is going to tell you what coverage is going to be. If one safety is on the hash, that's normally some form of cover 2. If you have a corner and he's lined up a little bit outside of you, that is a sign that it may be cover 2. If he's lined up inside of you and he's looking at you, looking at your belt buckle, he's looking at you, it's probably going to be a man. If he turns and he's looking at the quarterback, that is zone. It's probably going to be 3 or something if it's single safety. So you have to do a really good job if you are the wide receivers, David Johnson, really going over maybe some post-snap reads. When you're dealing with when you're dealing with the opponents who do a really good job of disguise and coverage. This game will really test Jarrett being able to read coverages. Because everyone likes to throw that out, and sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about because they don't even know Jarrett's reads. But this game, I think, will truly test how well Jarrett prepares, how well he understands what routes beat what coverage. If you have a cover 2 beater, which would be corners and seams, and they somehow find themselves in 2 safeties, does Jarrett immediately check that seam, check that corner route, knowing that it's a cover 2 beater? With pre-snap, you had 1 safety in the middle of the football field. That probably told you it was going to be 1 or 3. So I think this game is going to really test Jarrett because you're dealing with, a junior and senior laden defense.
Not only in coverages, but picking up the blitz and making sure 5, 6, 7-man protections are in order because he's going to have to make sure the protections are set and ready to go before each play, or else he is going to get killed back there.
The point is Kentucky really they don't really have to blitz.
No.
They got Josh Allen, who's one of the best pass rushers in college football.
He's a top 15 pick.
He has 10 sacks, 14 tackles for loss already, 14 and a half tackles for loss already on the season. So Kentucky they don't really have to blitz. They can sit back in coverage and disguise and try to confuse Jarrett. And that is why I think for Tyson, for Yak Johnson, that our ability to read coverages on the run will be very, very important. And that's what I saw on tape watching Kentucky this season, is they do a good job of disguising. Not super athletic, not a lockdown corner, but they are comfortable in their scheme. They're comfortable in what they do. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. For Ben McKee, Charlie Burris, and Jason Swain, hope you have a great day on a beautiful Wednesday in East Tennessee. I'm Jason Swain again, and the Swain Event's fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue in the restaurant in America. Peace and love. We are out.